This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. Anime Addicts, JList, and JBox.com are your premier online source for shopping of all kinds of anime and Japan-related goods. They have anime figures, anime DVD and Blu-rays, Japanese magazines and snacks, import console on PC games, visual novels, t-shirts, even Japanese language study materials, and so much more that I have personally enjoyed myself over the years. JList and JBox.com have been supporting this podcast for over 5 years now, and their loyalty to us deserves your appreciation. So head over to JList or JBox.com, the non-adult mirror site. Show them some love by finding yourself some exciting and fun anime or Japan-related merchandise. And now, it's time to start the show.
来てくれてありがとう. You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
I am muted on Discord, baby. Okay, from the top. Yo, this is welcome to the 528th episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous Podcast, where we are dedicated to making your anime addiction worse. Woo! My name is Enzo, NZ, whatever you want to call me, and I'm here joined by three of my goodest friends as my co-hosts for the show. They are Mitsugi. How you doing?
Enzi, what the fuck is up, brother?
Dude, I'm having a good fucking time. Mandi, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Hi guys, happy to be here.
Mason, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent, my guy. I'm racked with guilt that I forgot to tell people about the ways of Kaidama in the ramen episode last week, but
How could you?
They'll learn.
How could you? They
We all
will
make
learn.
mistakes.
Google it.
Kaidama?
Yeah,
Kaidama.
so you get extra noodles.
Kaidama Don.
Kaidama.
It's where the noodles slam you against the wall, right?
Kabedame don.
Oh.
If you want to check more stuff from us out, you can go to aapodcast.com/join and make an account, and you can sign up for our extra content through subscriptions. They include hentai episodes, hobby addicts, and after parties. It's just a whole lot of shit that's extra. That's more of us talking a lot about stuffs.
Let me just say, we talked about
Go
the
ahead.
PlayStation 5 reveal for an hour on Hobby Addicts
Oh my
today
God.
and covered everything. So if you want to
was
hear
so good.
all about it, Hobby Addicts people, go to the website, sign up, get your fix. Extra long episode.
Oh yeah, it was a good one. A constant 1 hour. Other places that you can catch us are our social media. If you're here with us live on Twitch, we super appreciate you. We stream live on Twitch every Sunday at 5 p.m. EST. That's at twitch.tv/AA podcast. If you're on Facebook, you can come chill with us at facebook.com/group/AA podcast. We do fan art Fridays, so send us your submissions, anything from sketches, paintings, cosplays, tattoos, whatever the heck. And of course, like we always say, the heart of the podcast, the heart of the fan base is on Discord, thriving, boosting.
Boom.
So if you want to join the Discord, go to the top of the website, aapodcast.com. There's a button there. You click on it. It's an invitation that takes you straight there, and join the conversation. Talking about Discord, we got some updates. What we got going on for Anime Club?
We are watching Kyoso Giga on June 17th. Well, hopefully you're watching it and you'll join us on the 17th to talk about it at 10 p.m. EDT. The show's only 10 episodes long, so if you're watching live, you still have time. We'd love to have you there and give your input.
Yeah, you also have my manga club. Our next club will be on June 24th. It will be reading chapters 1 through 14 of Rose of Versailles. If you're watching live, I have it here, although my light is blocking it out. It is a massive, massive book, but it's not available digitally. It's only in physical editions. So if you get this big hardback, the very first volume, all the reading is in this. This one goes up to I think chapter 19, I think. But yeah, it's also a really nice hardback. So if you would like to participate, all you got to do is read the assigned chapters. Come join us on the Discord in the manga club. chat channel, and we'll have a very laid back discussion. You don't even have to talk. You can just come and show up and listen if you'd like.
Yeah, and in terms of listening, today what you're going to listen to in the big 528 of the AA podcast is a good old anime Shark Tank episode.
Oh,
where you guys
fuck.
What?
Fuck the sharks.
Oh, I'm laughing because chat always manages to see what manga is in my background. They're like, Spy Family. Yes, Spy Family's on my desk.
Okay, I thought I said something really wrong. I was like, no, we're doing anime Shark
No,
Tank, right?
every episode someone mentions it, met comments on the manga that's on my desk. I'm like, how do you guys
That's
see
amazing.
that?
Eagle eyes.
They got the eagle eyes, baby. But yeah, so
great. I love it.
we're doing anime Shark Tank, and that's where the listeners write in with anime ideas, and we act like the sharks on the traditional show Shark Tank to see if we want to invest in that anime or not. And then afterwards, we're gonna review the widely discussed wild Dorohedoro, which I'm looking forward to talking
Yeah.
about later
Oh, yeah.
today, baby. But yeah, anything y'all want to say real quick before we move on? I got something I could say.
Enzo, you killed that intro. You did great. Reading all those URLs, big props.
Thanks,
What do you
man.
got to say? What do you got?
You're
to
a
say?
pro at reading.
Yeah, I just want to say, yo, guys, sorry that I wasn't on it the last 2 weeks. The world is a crazy place, okay? Black Lives Matter, okay, guys? Like, I just took time off to think about all the things and reflect about all that stuff. But yeah, if you guys need resources about how to help, let me know. We have links on the Discord. We have links on the Twitters. So yeah, help, because that shit's important, okay? But now I'm back.
I guess I
be a
should
positive
say.
force with you guys again.
I guess I should say at the front of the episode, I actually have a Twitter now. It's a real thing. It's not just the meme.
It's not a meme. It's not a meme.
It's
Twitter
a
now.
nightmare, but yeah, come follow me. I'd appreciate it. That's it. Okay, now we can move on.
All right, and if there's nothing else, guys, it's time for the big news of
Let's
the week.
fucking go.
おー、大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
2020 barely happened. We all know it. It's like, what month is it?
It's not really real.
Literally 5 minutes ago, Enzo asked us if it was June. I was like, yes, it's gonna be July pretty soon, brother. But
Yeah.
so we're gonna be picking our summer 2020 anime pretty soon. But I thought, why not? You know, it seems like the summer 2020 season is very small. We will probably do an impression on every anime that there is, because as far as I can tell, there's only 18 of them. But, and I imagine this is because of COVID, but I imagine that's the case. But it still seems like it's a small lineup, but it looks mighty. Like, there's a lot of good shit in this lineup. So I thought, why not a little sneak peek? What do you think?
Yeah. Bring me through it.
So there's like a bunch of sequels that I think people are going to be excited for. There's the new ReZero anime, which it was kind of cruel of them. I don't know if you guys have watched ReZero or not, but it's a pretty big title. And I think that it was kind of cruel of them to leave us where they did with the first season, because like shit was getting real. Like at the end of the first season, like, you know, people were like, you know, I'm not gonna say who or if anybody died, but things were getting a little more dire at the end of the first season. There was a lot more like big, like large scale fantasy monsters and just cool shit happening, and then boom, it ended. And I was like, what the fuck? And then what? And then you make us wait like years. Like, is this Attack on Titan again? But here it is. It's coming. So you're gonna get the second season of that, and I think that's gonna be like, you know, by far the biggest title for the summer, I imagine. Yahari Ore no Seishun love comedy wa Machigateru season 3.
Yeah. Unless they debate me again.
Season 3, attempt 2.
Yeah, season 3, attempt 2.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because it was in this current season, but it was delayed due to COVID. So I'm hoping that it can actually happen.
You a big fan?
I really enjoyed season 1 and 2.
Okay, well,
So
there we go.
I want it.
Sword Art Online Alicization season 2, which I think people will be watching that. That's gonna get people excited. Fire Force season 2. I think we were all kind of like lukewarm on Fire Force, but I did think that the season 1 was at its best at the end of the season. So I was actually like, I was bored the whole time. Then I was like, right at about the last 25%, I was like, this is getting okay. So maybe I'll check out season 2, you know, for sure. And we didn't cover No Guns Life, but it's there. Season 2 of No Guns Life. So what do you guys think? Are you pumped up for any of these?
I watched episode 1 of No Guns Life, even though I failed it during the impression, and it was it was pretty fine all the way through. So I'm definitely going to check out season 2 of that.
Okay, how about you, Mandy? Are you particularly excited for any of this?
Not really.
Yeah. No. Yeah. No.
I mean, what's it called? The love comedy one is probably the only one that I'll probably actually end up watching, because I still have never seen ReZero, so I have no comments on that. I'm not the biggest Sword Art fan. I wasn't a big fan of Fire Force, and I dropped No Guns Life, so.
Gotcha.
And I don't even remember most of Love Life season 1. I don't think I've ever even seen season 2, so I don't know. Sorry, guys.
The
Go ahead.
No, please. I want to hear your
Yeah,
thoughts.
I was gonna say, Mandy, I will not leave you there alone. I'm also not extremely excited for any of these per se.
Ooh.
Fire Force, yeah, No Guns Life was kind of flat for me from like the 2 episodes I saw. Fire Force was like a whole mess and a half for me. Sword Art, I just fell off a long time ago. Yeah, love comedy. Origairu probably will be the one that I latch on to first. And ReZero, I did like season 1, but it was so long ago that I kind of forgot the hype behind that I had. Kind of it's similar to like an Attack on Titan situation, where like between season 1 and 2, I like forgot if I liked Attack on Titan or not. So I'll probably have to like rewatch some episodes of ReZero to get back into it. But I probably will watch it, but probably doesn't equate to hype. So I can't say that I'm hyped for any of these.
All right. Well, there's some other shows that look pretty exciting that I wrote down, and maybe you guys will have others. But there are non-sequels as well. The God of High School looks pretty good. It's
Yeah, it does.
Crunchyroll original that's done by Studio Mappa, and it's like
I thought
just
that's based on a manhwa.
It is.
It
It's like the
is.
new version of Tower of God. Well, not new version, but it's the sequel in essence of source material.
Yeah, I know the manhwa is very highly regarded, so I'm excited.
It looks cool. It looks like a fun, like there's definitely a lot of fighting in it. Like it kind of reminds me of almost like I mean, I don't know much about it, but it just from the trailer, it reminded me of like Real About High School, where there's like this high school and everyone's fighting all the time. So it looked pretty cool. Decadence kind of gives me like a Steam Boy feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this crazy looking post-apocalyptic-esque sci-fi show with all these cool machines and a lot of action, and the studio's name is Nut. Like, how can you not?
Yeah, they did the Saga of Tanya the Evil, which is kind of that like steampunk, realistic, dark setting. So, yeah, when I flipped through that trailer, every like 10 seconds looked visually very different. So I have no idea what we're getting.
And then, of course, I mean,
the most important work of art that's coming out.
drum roll, Monster Musume. What is it, like the Monster Musume Doctor or something?
Yeah.
So
The only one I'll actually be excited to watch.
he's like,
yes.
what was like the trailer was like, whether he's getting proposed to by snake girls or the bird girls trying to get in his like clinic at
Spider
night.
Girl, best. I'm
So
excited.
get hype for more monster girls. So they're very on the nose with it. It's like there's even a what are they called? What are the snake girls called? What is that mythical creature called? Whatever it is, like they're very on the nose with it. Like I don't even know if it's like a direct sequel, probably not, but it still has a snake girl, so you will be unable to forget that this is Monster Musume. So
I'll let you know.
Anybody else have anything else they're pumped for from this season? Because I honestly think the season like looks like on average the shows look a lot better than usual. So I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited for it.
I will agree with you that the medium, like the average quality, is probably a little higher, on the little higher end than most seasons, because most seasons have so much fluff. But in terms of like IP, it's a little lackluster for me. I do like the God of High School for some reason does catch my attention, even though Tower of God does not personally. And Decadence is, I will be trying it out because it's sci-fi and I have to.
Must.
And that studio name, I must.
Nut.
I must nut, dude.
You must nut.
I must nut.
I'll throw out
but
Ikebukuro Westgate Park.
I was
That's,
gonna say that too.
Oh, sorry. Why? Dogakoba. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only one that I'm looking at through this list. I'm like, yeah, that one I'll actually check. I'm excited to check out. The rest of them, not really. I mean, I'll definitely check out God of High School. Man, I don't know. A lot of these others I'm not really all that interested in. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems kind of weak for me.
The Ikebukuro Westgate is like, that is where like all the skeezy shit is. Like that's where the love hotels are, and where like really awkward looking couples walk while they're holding hands, late at night. And not that I, have any experience with any of that.
Sorry, Enzo. I feel like I interrupted you a while back. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I forgot that I even spoke.
Oh, well, double apologize then.
No, it's okay. I'm good.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to mention from the summer season that we'll be covering here in like 2 weeks or so?
No, whatever I gotta say, I'll say in 2 weeks.
Going once, going twice. Wait, what is this?
Prepare for
Oh
trouble.
my god!
Oh
Make
my
it double.
god!
Shut up! You
Oh.
haven't had one useful thing to say since you got here.
Western live action series in development of Promised Neverland.
Oh, I did see this.
Where did this come from? Oh, Amazon.
Amazon's making it.
They are, yep. It's Amazon and making a live action rendition of the Promised Neverland anime manga, and the key people working on it are Rodney Rothman and Megan Malloy, who worked on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They're directing and writing the show, and they're also they also have executive producer. Got to get my drop ready for this. Masaoka of Death Note.
Oh no!
The live-action Death Note executive producer is also a key person in the creation. I threw that in there because there were an awful lot of comments on the story, like just death knelling of this already because of him. But I don't know if it's really that. I don't know if it's really fair to death knell it that quickly, but yeah, it's gonna be on Amazon Prime Video, and so we all know about Promised Neverland. It had the 12-episode anime that came out in 2019. It's based on a manga. Second season was supposed to come out this year, but I don't know if it will. I think it's been pushed back quite a bit, like all the way back to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts? Excitement? Fear?
The most important question is
Uh-oh.
who's going to play Phil. That's all I care about. Who's
Mandy with
playing Phil?
With the
How-
real fucking question.
How big is that forehead gonna be? They have
Oh.
to
I
do
know
cosmetics.
he's
They
gonna
have
be
to-
so cute. I'll be excited for that.
Are they gonna be kids? Like, do you think they're gonna be kids, or are they
I
gonna
hope-
be?
yeah,
They have to. They have to be kids.
I think so. I think they're definitely like so my first gut check is that I can definitely see this as a live action, right? Like so, like that's usually my gut check because, for example, when people say, "Oh, like live action, fucking like," I don't know, like Attack on Titan, my gut check is like, I don't know if you want to do that live action, and that movie proved that my gut right. But for this, my gut was like, yeah, I could see it. There's nothing too crazy. I would be impressed if they tackled the demons, as demons and not as humans that are evil, because that's an easy shortcut. And I feel like the producer from Death Note might take that route, which it's unfortunate. But I do see the story playing out in live action. I think this is very doable. You have a cast, a good set, and the thing is, like, this is a low cost production. It's one set pretty much the whole time. It's one set. It's the clothes is simple. Like, it's a limited cast of characters and a lot of extras. So budget wise, there's no excuse to nail this. Maybe CG for the devils, but like, I think this is very executable, especially if it's 12 episodes. You could pretty much follow the fucking anime season 1 like to the T. So more hopes are higher than usual for me on a live action. I hope this one's okay.
I feel like it's probably going to be censored a lot. I feel like, now I could be wrong, but in my memory, I feel like Western live action films are far more unlikely to ever show violence regarding children, and it gets pretty dark. So I don't know how they're going to handle that.
That's a
I
good point,
haven't read the
actually.
manga going further than the anime.
Same.
So what I'm about to say, I'm not intending to be a spoiler in any way, but I think this franchise, if we learn that there are different houses, different like schools, they could easily do a Promised Neverland like world, like universe, where they had like a live action version, not following like the main characters from this story. I think you could get a ton of spin-off series like that. So I'd much rather see that than a readaptation of what we've already seen in 2 other mediums. So I know they won't, but I think I'd be more interested if they did something like that.
That'd be interesting.
Let's make our own.
We could
Make
do it.
our own.
Who would
Yeah.
play Phil?
I will play Phil.
Okay.
Obviously.
Mandy's like, I'm taking that one.
Mandy will play all the kids.
I'll play all the kids.
Oh, is it going to be like a Eddie
Change
Murphy?
my
Are
clothes.
you going to pull a
Exactly.
Dr. Doolittle, Eddie Murphy?
Norbert or whatever it is, Norbit.
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
I just want to be. I would just want to be Don. Call it a day. That's me right there. Boom.
Boom.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a whole lot more information about it at this point, other than that they're working on it. So, okay. I don't know. I feel like there were other properties that probably were easier low hanging fruit for live action, but we'll see. So, I hope we don't have to watch any little kids being devoured, corn cob style, a la Devil Man. All right. Anything else here, guys?
No, that's I'm more excited than not, which is nice to feel.
Enzo's like, let's get to my segment.
Yeah, give me what I want. Take me there. Take me to the corner.
皆さんおめでとうございます Join us in Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner.
This is Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, where you can write in to let me and my fellow co-hosts know about something you're working on, something you've accomplished, or something that you're just really proud of, so that we can congratulate you and shower you with our anime addicted love. This one comes in from Gasa Gasa, and they say, my wife started a new job September 2018, where she worked 230 miles away, and I would listen to the podcast back and forth when, visiting her when I could. She kept working so many hours, 80 to 100 a week. Oh, I know what that's like.
Woo!
That's
Damn.
really hard. Yeah, and she said she wanted a divorce early in June 2019. And honestly, I fell apart as we'd been together for 13 years. One of the things the podcast helped me with was remembering what I liked, what I enjoyed in the worst times, what I liked and what I enjoyed in the worst times. I'm now singing karaoke and trying to go on dates, and my mal is up to a somewhat respectable 160 in anime. Still, I'm no Sakamoto, but who is? Anyway, I'll be fine. I have a decent job and with 2 fine tuxedo cats, but likely there is someone listening that needs to hear this quote from XXXholic, which helped me a lot. Being happy is not right, but a duty. A duty to yourself. Waving right is one thing, but failing in your duty is downright irresponsible. Yuko Ichihara. Thank you for that quote is from Yuko Ichihara. Thank you for the wonderful podcast. I look forward to it every single week. Hey, Gasa Gasa. Sometimes life doesn't play out the way you like intended it to or could have ever envisioned. Ergo, like an example, COVID. For many people, sometimes you can't plan for these things, but what is important is how you deal and how you bounce back. And it seems like you're in a really good place in the progression of the bounce. So congratulations on being there, and I'm glad that you sound happier, and I'm glad that we can contribute to that happiness. I love you, man. So congratulations on being better.
Yeah, I
You
feel-
owe it to yourself.
I feel like I should probably jump in here because I've been through this. So, best advice I can give you if you're still having a hard time is to fill your life with interesting and exciting experiences. So, I went and engaged in a whole variety of different activities that I'd never done before. First thing I did, I bought a crotch rocket. Boom, right off the bat. I bought a drone. I dug a huge trench next to my condo and built a flower bed in it. Just like anything you can to keep busy, keep having experiences, keep your mind off things. Try not to get too down in the dumps. If you need to go seek help, do that. There's no shame. There's no shame in it. People say therapy is like a privilege. It's like nothing to be ashamed of. So just hang.
Therapy twice a week, baby. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Trust me. Yeah, yeah, I'm not a stranger to that. Even though things seem like they're just like fucking terrible, they will get better. So time does heal all wounds. So hang in there. Keep hanging out with us. Go on the Discord if you need to, and we're all there for you. So hang in there. So
Yeah.
I don't have anything so nice to say. So I'm just going to say gasa gasa in Japanese, like anapia, means like to wrestle. So if you see that, that's what it means. So there's your fun fact.
Thanks, Mason.
there you go.
That's what I'm here for.
Manny, any input whatsoever?
I was engaged once upon a time, and that broke off, and I filled my life with ferrets and cats.
There you go. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Animal friends help.
Do you have any regrets?
Nope, I love
Boom,
them.
baby. That's
They're
what
all
I'm
my
talking about.
children.
There it is. If you like
I'm
to,
very happy that we are able to provide you with entertainment and
Yeah.
help you through such a difficult time. And we're happy to be here for you, and we love you.
Yay.
So, treat yourself to something nice today, whatever day it is that you're listening to this.
Treat
podcast, 'cause
yourself.
You deserve it, bro. You deserve it. Get some ice cream or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Ice cream's
Oh
good.
fuck, dude. Ice cream
Anyway.
is so good.
If you like to write into Enzo Sempai's Notice Me Corner, go to aapodcast.com. Up on the top somewhere is a button that says Mailbags and More. You click there, you hit a drop down that picks this segment, my segment, and you write your message there. And hopefully, one day, eventually, when I'm consistently on the podcast and catch up to all these messages, I will read it. I hope. So yeah, thanks so much, Gasa Gasa, for the message today, and I look forward to all the next ones. So let's get into the hot new anime releases.
It's time for hot new anime releases.
And they are hot today.
Yeah, big hot ones, especially if you're a big fan of shonen, because we got two that might tickle your fancy. The first one, the manga Eden Zero, gets a TV anime adaptation. This is done by the creator of Fairy Tail, and he announced it on his Twitter on Friday. There are currently 7 volumes in print as of June when we're recording this, and it looks exactly like Fairy Tail from the art that I've seen of it. So if you like that aesthetic, if you like that appeal, you know, you might get blessed with it. I don't know if we have to read the whole synopsis, but check it out if you're a fan of Fairy Tail.
I'm excited as hell, by the way, because I am always looking for a new shonen, and I feel like shonen's like where I enjoy myself the most right now. So I'm fucking amped for more.
Well,
shonen.
are you amped for this next one?
Yep.
Where we have the readaptation of Shaman King coming out in spring of 2021.
Let's fucking go.
Shaman King began in 1998 and ended in 2004 with 32 volumes, and that got adapted into a 64 episode anime by Studio Zebek back in like 2001. So from what I saw in this, they're going to be readaptating. So it's the full thing, all 32 volumes. Do you see what studio was doing it? I forgot to look.
Was it Mappa?
I will look for you.
Thank you. But
You're welcome.
yeah, Shaman King was definitely one of the shonen that I never got around to watching, but I definitely got the feeling that it was really special for the people who got into it. So it kind of was like the dark horse, not one of the big 3 that people always talked about, but I was always got the feeling that it had a fair bit of a following to it. So excited for it.
Yeah, I've never seen Shaman King. Now I'm wondering if I should watch the original or just wait until this comes out.
You're just going to pull a Hunter x Hunter or FMA and just watch both, knowing you.
I am currently binging through Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm already really pretty deep into it.
Give me the damn number. What episode are you on?
Well, I'm 22,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
started Thursday.
How?
And then last week, I binged through the first 54 episodes of Inuyasha 2.
I don't even know. I can't verbally quantify how impressed I am every time Mandi spits these facts out, because it's crazy.
I mean, we can objectively quantify how much time that is, but
yeah, but my impressed levels are
Beyond.
infinite, because I don't fucking relate. I don't fucking relate.
I can't
Well,
find
I'm
the
also watching
studio.
them dubbed, and the dub means that I can go through it so much quicker.
That's true.
Sorry, I
That's
didn't mean to
true.
interrupt.
No, it's cool. Yeah, you're right about that. So I was also thankful for that for Dorohedoro, even though it's only 12 episodes. I can't find the studio, Mason. So
No
sorry.
worries.
I know my
Yeah, so-
girlfriend's really excited about this. She loves the original Shaman King, so it's like, yeah, let's fucking go.
Maybe we'll do maybe I'll do a side-by-side comparison, watch 1-to-1 and see how it compares. So I'm excited.
Just good shit.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, now we have our website trivia. So if you go to aaapodcast.com, scroll down, and there is a picture there that is cropped from an image from an anime, and all you gotta do is guess what anime that is from. You can win prizes. The current theme is Mason's lesser-known favorites, and the answer for last week was Hyuge Mono. which he has talked about recently.
And I'm going to talk about it again very soon.
Lots of pottery, if I recall.
That's always been on my list. God, that has been on my list for so long. Everyone all of a sudden is talking about it. I'm like, crap, I should have watched it probably months ago. But the winner for last week was Nisekoi Maiko. And yeah, so still the same theme of Mason's lesser known favorites. So if you go to the website, send in your answers and you can win prizes at the end of the month. But after that, we have our weekly trivia question, which we will answer after the break. The question is, what is the first anime series produced by Studio Mappa? And for a bonus, if you can guess the year. So ponder it, and we'll answer it after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Soon.
Hey, all you anime addicts, Mitsuki's here, bringing you your first anime news break, leading us off with probably the biggest news of the week. Sony revealed the PlayStation 5 console that a lot of us have been waiting to see and hear more about. They revealed the look of the console, which is a sleek, white-looking console with a white controller, coming in both a digital and non-digital version, meaning you can get it with or without a disc drive, which I don't know what kind of impact that will have on the price or maybe the hard drive space, but we will have to wait more to see. They also announced a lot of games, which was mostly the bulk of the presentation. New Horizon Zero Dawn, Pragmata, another Resident Evil game, Resident Evil 8, Deathloop, a remake of the original Demon Souls, which was pretty exciting. They also had indie developers coming forth with games like Bugsnax, Little Devil Inside, and lots of others. If you're a big fan of Sony and PlayStation, look out more online. There's lots of articles where you can catch all of the highlights from the presentation that happened mid last week, so you can be informed. Next up, they had the Sanrio Grand Prix contest, as they have every year. Sanrio always holds these massive polls every year in which fans of the company vote for their favorite mascots from Sanrio. And the results are in with many millions of votes cast. Number 5 on the list was Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty getting number 5, down with only 840,000 votes, down from over around 1.6 million last year, which is a drop of about 50%. Hello Kitty's popularity seems to be plummeting. Number 4, My Melody. Number 3, Pochacol, which I'm not very familiar with, but has a cute name. Number 2, Pom Pom Pudding, got 1.3 million votes in the contest. And Cinema Roll, coming in at number 1 with 1.4 million votes in the Sanrio Grand Prix for 2020. So, Cinema Roll, who, if you are familiar, look up online, probably very cute. Next up, animators reveal the disparities in earnings being paid to people throughout the world. A continued effort to bring more awareness to the salaries of animators that are working in Japan. It looks like there are a lot of Twitter posts that are being highlighted in this article with the hashtag GameDevPaidMe and animation, hashtag animation paid me. And it looks like a lot of the it's a pretty wide disparity in terms of how much people make. I do note that a lot of these people made quite a bit more than I made teaching English in Japan, so everybody should probably make more, but I'm not all that surprised. It looks like the salaries have ranged from around $20,000 to $40,000 in some cases in the last couple years, and some less being paid per cut or per key animation being done. So a little harder to calculate in that event. If you're interested in seeing more of the data, you can go to the hashtag #AnimationPaidMe on Twitter, where people are posting data about how much they made over the last few years. And rounding us out, we have some data about the top-selling games in Japan for the last week, June 1st through June 7th. Nintendo just continuing to dominate for the most part. All numbers 1 through 4, or really numbers 1 through 8 for the most part, all being Nintendo games, with the top 3 being Ring Fit Adventure with 30,000 copies sold, Sekai no Asobi Taizen 51 with 64,000 copies sold, and still number 1 on the list is Animal Crossing New Horizons with about 100,000 copies sold, bringing its total copies sold in Japan to 4.7 million, which is a staggering number for anything being sold in Japan, considering the smaller market. This is Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, of course, it's time to get back to the podcast. Oh, my lovely anime addicts out there. JList and JBox.com are your premier online source for shopping of all sorts of anime and Japan-related goods. They've got anime figures, anime DVD and Blu-rays. They have Japanese magazines and snacks for you to pick from, import console and PC games of all sorts of varieties and types, visual novels, even Japanese language study materials, and that's not all. I can't list them all here. And I've personally enjoyed so many of these products over the years myself. JList and JBox.com have been supporting this podcast for over 5 years now, and their loyalty to us deserves your appreciation. So head over to JList or JBox.com, the non-adult mirror site, and show them some love by finding yourself some exciting and fun anime or Japan-related merchandise. Again, that's over at JList or JBox.com.
Hi, this is Tiffany Grant. Remember me? Oscar Langley Soryu. Anyway, I'm a total anime addict, and if you're not listening to Anime Addicts Anonymous, what are you, stupid?
Welcome back. I'm just sitting here having some cereal, jamming, because crunching on some Special K protein cereal with almonds.
Oh,
and
you're
it's
so
good.
boring.
Oh, it's so good, man. How is she?
Get some Reese's Post in there, you
Man.
fucking wacko.
If you ever need 28 grams of protein in a bowl of cereal, get some Carb Master milk, some Special K. Dude, it's good. It's good cereal.
I refuse to macro cereal, bro. I want that chocolate peanut butter goodness. I want those Oreo O's. I want all the sugar. I want that Frosted Flakes. I don't give a fuck.
I'm literally here weighing cereal on a scale to the gram. Okay, that's how you have to do it.
If you ever want to go through a midlife crisis, just hit up some grape nuts. That's just like a surefire way to realize that you've settled in life.
Crispix.
Oh my god. Oh,
Guys,
take us to the damn answer,
good
bro.
lord. Well, what was the first anime series produced by Studio Mappa? If you go on like Wikipedia, it comes up as number 1. It's Kids on the Slope, 2012.
Yeah,
that's the answer.
Baby.
So, now that we have completely revealed how old I am, let's go to Mandy's Manga Minute so we can just move on from that sad moment.
Let's do it.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga. I hope you find something new to read. And this one, we are still in Pride Month. And to celebrate, I am doing Road Queen, Eternal Road Trip to Love. Woo. Leo's the hottest senior at Princess Andromeda Academy. And her adoring fangirls have one goal: beat her in a road race and win the chance to date her. Unfortunately for them, the only thing Leo loves more than breaking hearts is her faithful motorcycle Bethany. But when a mysterious girl named Vega takes Bethany away, Leo finds her heart may have been stolen too. Road Queen, Eternal Road Trip to Love is actually an American romance manga, written and illustrated by Mira Ong Chua, which I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. I wasn't particularly sure. But even though it is an American comic, it still has the same kind of art style that you would find in a traditional manga. And the story was kickstarted, actually. It earned over $71,000 in pledges to kickstart it. And it's available both digitally and in print. It is just one volume, so this is the whole thing. And Leo is the most sought-after student at the all-girls academy, Princess Andromeda. And she's a little bit standoffish, though, and she seems to only be interested in her bike, Bethany. But when the beautiful woman Vega tricks Leo into handing over Bethany, Leo has to win her bike back. And the only way to do that is for Leo to prove to Vega that she can be a decent girlfriend. And the two develop an intimate bond together while also discovering each other's weaknesses. It's a very short, very simple story. It's not, it doesn't have a ton of dialogue. Like, the pictures are also pretty large. So even though this book looks huge, it's actually a very short read. And it's your kind of enemies to lovers story. And it's all about romance, comedy, and getting your bike back.
Sounds dope.
I also want to do a quick shout out to Yurdi Life, which I read, but I really wanted to do a manga minute on it, but it was really hard to do because this is a very tiny book and it's just short stories. But the whole manga, it's by Kuru Hime. And I know, it's really cute. Kuru Hime.
Yeah.
The all the stories in here are very short, so it's kind of hard for me to go like, oh, this is the plot and these are the characters and stuff. But each one is about adult women relationships, and it's all in color too. So it's really cute, and I highly recommend this one.
So that one was Yuri Life. Why?
Yes, Yuri Life.
Y-U-R-I? Yuri Life.
Mhm.
Okay, dope. That looked really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cute. I highly recommend it.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Okay.
So I guess now it's time for the spice levels to reach full capacity.
Uh-oh.
Bring us to the hottest anime arguments, Mason.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
As always, if you yourself have hot takes, unpopular opinions, or things you want us to debate, go over to our website and drop a mailbag with the anime arguments tag so we can read it. We got two today, and the first one's was just a gimme excuse to talk about this, but Discord boys and Bread Crew say Hyogemono, which is the answer to last week's trivia on the website. Hyogemono is the best historical anime depicting the era of the Warring States. Also, Nobunaga has the best fashion sense of all anime characters. And I'm no expert on all the Sengoku period era shows, the Nobunaga game era, 1500s. You have shows like Sengoku Basara, Nobunaga Concerto, The Ambition of Oda Nobunaga. Wow, I'm going to say that way too many times wrong today. Sengoku Otome, Sengoku Collection, Oda Cinnamon Nobunaga, Nobunaga the Fool. There's just so many that it's kind of its own genre within the historical thing.
Yeah.
And I know Icy Rose, he's more into those. He'll back me up. Absolutely. Hyogemono is the best of those shows, even though I haven't seen any of them. Because I know that this show is just so realistically absurd. It's got so many phenomenal characters. It looks at their motivations and aspirations beyond just, oh, we're at war. It's just got so many passions that go into it. It kind of expects you to know the general story beats of the time period. So if it's like your first time with one of these shows, it might be a little hard to follow, but it's not impossible. This show is not for everyone. This is easily the best show that Beat Train has ever done, though, which is kind of fitting because it was the last show that they did. The music is spectacular. It's done by Kawa Otani, who did like Shadow of the Colossus and a bunch of other great stuff. Best reaction faces in anime, period, hands down. There was a lot of controversy and issues when they were making this thing, and I'm amazed that it turned out as well as it did. And the manga, although it's unlicensed, from what little I have read, is also pretty great. And yes, Nobunaga is with it. He absolutely gets down. He's got great fashion. So check it out. The next one comes from Madao Life, and he says, many people dismiss isekai anime shows as being extremely derivative. Aren't most of the big shonen Jump titles just as derivative, if not more so? Yes, everything's derivative. I mean, to start off, nothing is completely original. Like, after centuries of creative works, like, all stories can do nowadays is kind of pull together established concepts from diverse and eclectic references and kind of compile it in an interesting way. Like, even Dorohedoro, which we'll talk about later, is one of the most unique works I've seen in a while. Like, even that revolves on like magic and wizards. We've seen that. Dystopian, utopian
Yeah.
differences with class structure. We've seen that. You have amnesia, transformation, with the MC kind of finding out his past. We've seen that. It's got gyoza, baseball, doors, bathhouses. Those are all things that exist. It's got like this relationship and contract system. Like on a broad term, nothing is super original, and there is always some formulaic stuff that goes into it, but there's still ways to be creative, unlike we see in isekai and shonen, which are also derivative to the point of kind of being lazy and formulaic and stale. So it's kind of more like just processed food. Like food can be made with the same ingredients that other food has been made of, but you can definitely feel the difference between what is mass produced and what is, I don't know, more authentic. So I don't know. I don't think saying that shonen isn't derivative takes away from the derivative. How
degree.
derivative? I was trying to turn it into an adjective that failed miserably.
Derivativity.
Yes, thank you. In my mind, however, shonen gets more of a pass because those are works published in a magazine, like to cultivate that same appeal and the same demographic. Like it's already a smaller scope. So of course they're derivative because they're taking decades of established works like Dragon Ball or Fist of the North Star and just carrying the torch. So I'm kind of expecting less variety, whereas isekai should come from a boundless imagination. They come from like light novels where things are much more unbounded, they're less restricted. So maybe because there's less of a visual look that people can put in light novels, that the anime adaptations kind of end up looking the same. Whereas with manga, like in Shonen Jump, the artist can kind of establish how it looks, and that helps to make them look different. So I think everything's a little derivative at the end of the day. So if you like it, you like it.
It might not be really worth, as you said, having the conversation about what is derivative and what isn't. And I think it's probably even worse if you're trying to like, if you're using that as a benchmark for what you enjoy, because it's just going to be awfully hard for you to find things at this point that, I mean, there's like 300 anime a year or something. It's wild, right? So, it's going to be awfully hard to find something that is so unique that it doesn't, borrow concepts or it doesn't resemble anything else. And at the end of the day, I kind of feel like it's up to the like direction of the show or how you connect with the characters. Stuff like that is what makes the show special. But I don't really worry about how derivative something is.
Yeah, execution.
Yeah, it's about execution at a certain point. I mean, I guess there are shows from here and there that are like so unique that, I mean, even a show like Space Brothers, which I talked about not that long ago, there aren't like a lot of shows like that. There really aren't, like two brothers that want to go to the moon together. Like, how many anime have you seen like that? None. No others that I know of. But I'm sure it still borrows concepts from plenty of things that aren't anime. So, Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, it's like how I always defend my viewpoint on My Hero. Like a lot of people are like, Enzo, how could you not be one of the biggest My Hero fans? And it's just like, well, it's not that I dislike My Hero. It's just that I've seen My Hero a million times, but I've seen things like My Hero a million times, but I completely understand the hype behind it because I think My Hero's execution of the formula is actually pretty solid. So I understand why it has the fan base that it does. It's just not interesting to me because of how derivative it is of the formula that exists for shonen already. But yeah, I think Mason, I think you had a lot of good shit there. That's really insightful stuff you said.
I think maybe I'm just alone in this, but I also don't think it's bad to have tropes and to have series that are very similar, because maybe it's just me, but when I finish a series that I really love and enjoy, Hunter x Hunter, I get depressed. So if I can find something else that is similar, it fills me with more joy because I feel like I'm getting more of what I loved about that series. And it creates a safety zone for me where I'm like, if someone tells me this series is almost exactly like this series that I loved, I'll be like, I will 100% check that out. So I don't think it's really bad for me, at least. I don't know.
No, I'm with you. I mean, that's like me in K-dramas. Like, if I finish one K-drama and then someone tells me, hey, here's 5 more K-dramas that are like the same shit, I'm just like, fuck yeah, I'll watch them all. So yeah, I'm with you. I think it's like, I don't know. Some people think it's bad to be super derivative, but again, like to me, if you execute, like if 5 shows have the same fucking idea, but they all execute in their own way, and it's all and they do it well,
Yeah.
then they all get the pass from me. You know?
As long as they have enough in there to separate each other. If it's like literally the exact same show, then I'm gonna be like, maybe not. But as
Exactly.
long as there's enough to differentiate that these are 2 completely different series, but just have the same kind of formula to them, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good discussion, everyone.
Good discussion there. I like this little debate shit. It's quick opinions from the hosts here, and then moving on to another segment of the podcast where we will be discussing our opinions in length, most likely, is our main topic, which is anime Shark Tank.
Who are the sharks? They are self-made business experts worth billions. Mitsuki is a self-proclaimed holy man and a world-renowned enemy of moe girls. Raised billions for his church through the Kick the Filth into the Pit of Hell Foundation to lead the fight against moe. Mandi, a shrewd venture capitalist who made a fortune selling her anime boy butt hug pillow company for $4 billion. Enzo, rock label mogul and shrewd negotiator, made millions when he founded the only rock label for nudists called Nudist Peach. Mason, after becoming bored with winning food eating contests, he turned millions into billions with an investment into his own social media platform, HotTakes.com. These are the sharks, and this is Anime Shark Tank.
Did you buy that backpack, Mason, just for the show? Or did you already have that?
I mean, I saw Ebisu, and she was in her shark mascot, and I felt compelled. So I might. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna.
Mason's so extra when you least expect it.
He kept all of his high school backpacks just in case.
Anyway.
I have a shark backpack on in case you're listening and wondering what's going on.
Mitch, I need to know because Mitch, I want to say I think I know you so well because I didn't know if you had the drop planned or not. So I just kind of I served it up and you completely delivered because I knew you had the drop. How much fun was it to make that drop? Because if people don't know, Mitch works with our voice actors most of the time to make most of the drops, but he made this one himself. Like, how fun is it to making this drop?
Well, I will say, first of all, I wish I had like a more, there's always there's this handful of guys in the world that do the voices for everything, and everybody always wants to have like the really deep voice, and they're really gravelly, and I smoke like 40 cigarettes. Like, I don't have that voice, so I try my best, but you just kind of sit there with notepad and you kind of, it's like, you think about your friends and you say, what kind of just outlandish shit outlines their personality or their role in the show, and then it's kind of fun.
And mine's butts. Mine's boy butts.
Wow, you do what you do. I mean, Hisoka. I mean, he clearly has.
Okay, you're true. Okay, I'm caught.
He clearly has the number one amongst all the anime boy butts out there. Hisoka's butt commands the largest market share of any of them.
He's got a nice butt.
It's a good one.
I'm in. Like, you don't even have to give the pitch. Just walk out there and just say Hisoka's butt, and I'm like, money here. Take it. I'll stuff it in the butt cheeks.
That's what Togashi did. Yeah.
Following that same model is our main topic again, which is Anime Shark Tank. So we're gonna read some ideas from our beloved listeners, and we're going to give our takes on whether or not we want to invest in these show ideas to produce them into mega blockbuster successful animes. Did I just say animes? Oh, am I a fucking noob? Jesus Christ. Anime.
The plural of anime is anime.
I know. Okay. I self-corrected. Okay. Anyway, first up, we have one from Obscurity 101. Take it away, Vince.
Let me just add real quick that this is on the mailbag button, so we basically just wait until you submit enough of these, and then I go okay, and then I grab them. So if you want to submit these, you do it through the mailbag button on the website, and then we do it.
Website.
Just be careful. You gotta put in how you're gonna make money and stuff like that, because it's like no one goes on Shark Tank if they're not trying to make money. Like, that's the whole point. So, All right, Obscurity 101. Title of this show is An Hour's Value. 24 episodes long. The synopsis is that Hisato is an immortal man that has lived for almost 50,000 years. Having seen everyone he cares about die many times before, he is searching for a way to end his life. While exploring the fantasy world he resides in to pursue this goal, he encounters a young woman named Yoshiko, who has been cursed by fate and will die in just over 2 years' time. Hisato decides to do one final good deed in this world and help help Yoshiko, prolonging her life using the knowledge.
Hisato is down to kill anybody, guys.
Yeah, he really is. Prolonging her life using the knowledge he obtained, trying to end his own. Got it. Together, they travel the world looking for a way to break her curse and end his life. Appeal. You will watch the relationship between these two evolve and also learn about the fantastical world they live in throughout the anime. Their very different end goals, one to live and one to die, also stir up complex emotions as you hope to see them continue on together. Money-making scheme, merchandising, and DVDs. That's all she wrote.
I can bite pretty quickly.
He's biting.
Yeah. Well, I'll give critique. I think money-making scheme being merchandising DVDs is very weak. I mean, that's a given. I mean, you will attempt merchandise and DVDs.
Yeah.
Right? You know. So I can't give you points on the money-making scheme there. But I will say that in terms of the essence of the show you put forth here, like. I always say this on the podcast, but this is a conflict of ideals. Well, and in a way, because of the two different goals that these people have, and it's interesting that they're going to be on the same journey, walking the same path, although the results are very different. So, if I read the synopsis on like Mal or Anime List or whatever, it would be one that I would queue up to watch because I don't think I've seen this specific story route in an anime with these two entwining characters with what they want in their lives, and I am here for very personal growth stories. So for me, this is one of those rare cases where like even though the money making scheme is not there, I do believe in this story. I think this story could work, assuming that like. The dialogue has to be very strong, right? So here's the thing: you sell me this anime, I will hire the writers and overlook the dialogue. And if you agree to that, then I'm in. Otherwise, I'm out.
Oh,
this sounds like a mashup between Blade of the Immortal and Plastic Memories.
It reminded me of Hell's Paradise. The manga I just talked about
Mandy.
recently. Except instead of a young woman, it's the Shogun in Hell's Paradise.
I think for me, like, I just think it sounds a little. You know what? Like, Mr. Wonderful's not very nice on that show, so I mean, I don't really seem like I don't know why I have to be. I think it sounds kind of boring. You know, like I think that the types of shows that are making money are the ones that aren't boring, and I don't know what kind of merchandising you're gonna sell, and no one's buying DVDs anymore. If they're buying anything, it's Blu-rays. So maybe that's what you meant. I don't know. I'm just kind of out. Like, I feel like I wouldn't be interested enough to want to buy anything. You know, I mean, it's like, does anybody buy? It's like, I guess if I had to compare this to an anime, just like off the top of my head in 5 seconds, it would be Mushishi or something. And it's like, is anybody buying any like? Ooh. Wow.
Someone's holding down my door button. 1 second.
Okay, wow, that was interesting. Oh, we're going to have a full story in one moment here from Mandi. This is going to be great. I might even going to edit that. I'm just going to leave that in. So
Yeah.
I think, like, is anybody buying merchandise from Mushishi? I doubt it. So I'm out because I just don't think you're going to make any money from it. It's kind of a thoughtful idea, but yeah.
I think Enzo summarized my thoughts pretty well. I feel like 24 episodes already feels long just thinking about this kind of show. And I feel like it would make sense if the world was really engaging and compelling, but you just said it was fantastical, and I don't know what that even means. I have no sense of era, time. Is it magical? Is it just this guy? There's too many unknowns. So I feel like with a bit of workshop with Enzo at the helm, it's got potential, but as it currently stands, I'm gonna have to pass. No dice.
No dice.
I think the story sounds pretty interesting. That's definitely one that I would check out. I mean, I don't I don't know what I'm looking for here with money making scheme. Let me tell you something. I don't have any money. How have any money to pay you? So and that's the truth. So I don't know. I think it sounds really interesting. I would check it out, but I don't have money for you. I'm sorry.
I think we're out on this one. Everyone was kind of lukewarm except me, who thought it was boring. That sounds about right.
Yeah,
I want to read a poem, and I've written it for you.
This is
that
such a
doesn't
special
happen very often.
Okay.
In cash, I know because I like to watch it flow. When I ask valuation, I want no hesitation. Are you worth $10 million?
Hell no. Get the fuck out of my house. That's right. What?
Oh my god. So I forgot how savage Mr. Wonderful is on Shark Tank, dude.
Mandy, who was at the door?
Oh, I have no idea. It was just somebody holding down the button.
A ding-dong ditcher? What is this? Third
I
grade?
just let him in, so
In
I'm going to assume it's
2020?
somebody that was probably locked out of their place.
Oh, I
But
see.
it's weird because they normally when you push it, it rings. It goes doo doo doo. But they were like holding it down. So
They
if
were
someone starts
impatient.
banging on my door, we'll find out soon.
Someone-
They gotta pee. They
Someone
gotta
had,
pee.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
someone had to poop. Somebody was having poop
Yeah.
sweats.
Someone just held their whole arm against the fucking thing and just pressed down like 40 different apartments just to get in.
And all I can think of is that scene from Happy Gilmore where it's, and the night closes in.
I got that.
Mandy, please read the next one.
The next one is from Killick. Series title is Tales of the Past. This will be a mini-series, 11 episodes, 10 minutes each, about Grim Reapers guiding various people through the last moments of their life. A quick example for an episode. 2 men are stranded on a lifeboat after a shipwrecks in the middle of the ocean. They share their life stories, but towards the end, the first man realizes the other is there to guide him to the afterlife. The stories would traverse the emotional spectrum, with everyone finding at least an episode or 2 they could enjoy. The money making is we would save money
Oh, God.
by underpaying animators.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
Madhouse. So
Okay,
Madhouse is
Madhouse.
doing it. Selling figures in grab bags, or 1 in every 1,000 as a busty babe in a bikini from a popular anime without their permission to save on copyrights. So you're also expecting to get sued. And spending every last cent of profit on an extremely volatile cryptocurrency and crossing our fingers.
Holy
I'm in. I'm
shit.
so in. My dude, I'm in. All the
Oh.
way, my dude.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yo, this one, okay. I cannot believe the contrast between the story and the money making.
Yeah, I know.
Is wild.
So the money making scheme's funny. I actually think the story sounds really cool. That's something that I would definitely check out as well. I
mean,
love emotional stories, and this sounds really interesting. I like stories that talk about like death and the afterlife. So I don't know. That'd be really interesting.
I'm a big fan of like the 10-minute shows, and really this is just a episode of Death Parade without the games.
Thank
Sure.
you.
They just took that, dropped it in, do a quick little emotional kapow-ka-chow. Roll
was that?
credits. I like it. I like
Pow-ka-chow.
it.
Yeah, I like it
Oh,
too.
I
So
like it.
yeah, so I'm in for yeah. I'm with Mandy and Mason too. I think well, first of all, let me tackle the money making scheme. Well done. That was funny as hell. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was good.
As someone who was an artist and is hobby an artist and has a lot of artist friends, I could not possibly ever sign up for this. So no. But story wise, I really like the short episodes, like the 10 minutes each. I think the what you could have here is if you have a really talented writing team, you could have very clever ways in revealing the Green and having the Reaper reveal themselves as the Green Reaper. If you find the most organic route of dialogue to that moment, each episode will feel super fresh, and that's what you're gonna need to have be key. Because otherwise the whole like, oh, I'm the Green Reaper is gonna get old really fast. Just no matter how interesting each character's individual stories are, it's the reveal has to be very organic and very interesting. You can probably, and for money, you can probably make money if you make the Reaper's original form something very sellable. You can make money off those figures. You can have like cards, like postcards and stuff like that. Like if you make the Reaper like a really attractive boy, a really attractive girl with a really cool like scythe, like the scythe could be a keychain, like there could be figurines. Like I'm thinking like Natsume type figurines, like the ones Mandi has, So like that's where you can make your money. If you have one character that is consistent and shines through, make that person the figure. You can sell based on things like that, and not necessarily things about the show. So yeah. So I mean I'm ignoring the money making part. I'm in on this. I think that's a really cool premise of the story.
The Reaper always has a magical girl transformation. Now I'm
Lit.
in.
At the end of this, on the last episode, the Reaper goes for the people, and then actually then the Reaper comes for him, and then the Reaper is the one who
What
gets
if
taken.
a Reaper goes against another Reaper?
Exactly. Also, if you're concerned with money, I happen to know 3 high school girls who will do it for a dusty couch and like milk. So that's pretty cheap option. So
I don't think I'm in on this one. I think your money making scheme is hilarious, but not really. Trying to keep it serious at all. Not really much of a money making scheme. But since everybody else seemed to be enthusiastic enough, I guess you're getting your money, but you're not getting it from me. So how you like that? Wild.
This is a good example of the premise outweighing here the money making. It's a good job on the premise there.
All right, next up.
So next up comes from Danielle, and I feel like this was written to make me mess up my words a ton, so bear with me. And also, it's strangely similar to a mailbag we got many moons ago about like a setting we wanted. So I'm already in on this, but it is an anime based on Aztec legends and mythology. It'll be done by Studio Wit. They want a Vinland Saga feel.
Oh, I'm in.
Yeah. So it is. Our story is an epic about a boy named Akamapishli, or Akka for short. It starts off with him being born as a flood destroys his town, which is Aslan, which is the place Aztecs originated from, which kills his mom and sister. The town is left uninhabitable. The high priests say that God's wrath destroyed the town. People think his birth is what made the gods angry. Priests get a vision from a hummingbird, the sun god, where they would find their new home, a place where they find a snake perched on a cactus devouring another snake. During this trip, where the decimated town travels, we would get character development, and our main character trying to understand why people hate him and trying to win them over. Him learning about the world, and his grandpa and the dad teaching him to be a warrior. There's plenty of action as the Aztecs were a warrior society. Towards the end, I would like to see the establishment of Mexico-Tenochtitlan. Essentially a bunch of, I'm guessing, Aztecian historical figures that would go on to be the emperor, and the eventual death of the Aztecs in place of the Mexica culture. This would leave it open-ended but a great ending point for our protagonist for an eventual second season. So this is a pseudo-historical epic, which is why Mexico has an eagle serpent cactus on its flag, and kind of tell you a bunch about their culture and history. The money would come from toys, manga, and video games. And they say, P.S. I think Mandi might like it, which is why I want a Vinland Saga feel to it.
Nice.
Heck yes. I'm in.
Yeah.
I think it sounds dope.
Yeah. I think so. I always say that I think there's so much history in the world that anime hasn't ventured into. And this is a good example of this because it's not like only Japan or Greece has mythology. Like a huge amount of the world has ancient mythology, and the Aztecs are I don't think we have anything from the Aztecs in the anime, do we? Or any Central American, South American lore, really, in anime. Fate, yes. Fate touches on it a bit, I think. Yes. So I think this is really cool. You hit uncharted territory, pretty much. So you can set a really good example here. It would open up, it would give anime watchers that are usually just fed only Japanese things. Like, say someone isn't Mexican, they have no idea what this is. It would be an interesting way to get them into learning more about a culture they know nothing about. I think money for this one makes sense. Like as long as you do have characters that slap, like I think the toys will come. And then a video game with a world like this is also very, you know, a very practical thing to want to do if it's successful. And Mandy likes it, so like I'm in.
Yeah, I think that the average person's going to struggle with these names. I think that the names are a little tough. I know that they're from other cultures and ancient times. I still think they're a little tough when you have to put whatever the phonetics, and it's like 7 hyphens. It becomes a little tough for people. So maybe we'll have to work on figuring that out. But all in all, it sounds pretty badass. So, and yeah, I think why not? I think this is the kind of thing that has mass appeal. And I think that when you're trying to make some fucking money, you gotta have a lot of people watching it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and we are we're in a post Game of Thrones being mainstream world. So historical fantasy, high history, is always on demand. I think for the next foreseeable future for a while.
Especially if they have that Mesoamerican ball game that I talked about. Ooh, that'd be cool to see animated. That'd be real neat and violent. I'm in.
Yeah. So are we all in on this one?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Daniel, good job, man. Congratulations there. All
hey,
right.
Don't get arrogant, though. I don't want you to get complacent. Get out there and make me some money.
You could clean up the money-making scheme. Come from toys, manga, and video games?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could elaborate next time. Like obviously we're gonna get toys, manga, and video games. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Yeah.
This next one comes in from SJ. I always struggle. Okay. I
Synther probably.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I hang with this dude on Discord enough, and I talk to him enough. But I always struggle with his name. He says Dong saves Japan. Son of a son.
I've seen this hentai.
Oh, I've seen this hentai. Haha. The description reads: son of an American businesswoman and a well-endowed Thai gardener, Dong reads about Japan's declining population and believes it's because of timid Japanese men. Armed with his self-entitled superpower, clues in his name, 100,000 yen, which he believes is equivalent to $100,000, lol, and a severe lack of knowledge about Japanese culture and language, he sets out to save Japan by impregnating as many women as possible.
Hold up, is this person Kazuo?
Due to his lack of understanding and stupidity, he usually ends up with his pants down in awkward situations. Think of this show along the lines of Golden Boy meets American Pie. It will make all the money by selling uncensored DVDs, well-proportioned figurines. Here's my gut reaction here is, God damn it, why do I think this will work? I hate that I cannot deny the fact that this would definitely work as a show, especially hitting on thematic borrow from Golden Boy, because I think if you're gonna sell an ecchi to the masses, it has to be more than just perversion, right? So like if you again, and listen to me, if you want to sell to me, you gotta give me writing, you gotta give me ideas of what the dialogue and writing is gonna be, because if you tell me that this show is going to be this premise, but you're also gonna give me like interesting characters, like interesting scenarios, because Golden Boy isn't ecchi, but Golden Boy puts you in a really interesting slice of life, like self-growth transformation as what's the dude in Golden Boy's name?
Kentaro Oe.
As Kentaro, like he worked at different jobs, he's in different scenarios, and you learn to appreciate those things in a way, even though it isn't ecchi, right? So like if Dong is, if the whole fucking anime is Dong being a complete idiot over and over and over again with no real like things to latch on to him with, then I think it just becomes an annoying ecchi. So, and I just kind of, even though that you pointing out Golden Boy, it gives me some hope. I just don't know if this premise is strong enough on its own to carry as an actual show. I know this is probably just a joke entry, and even though it might work, but like I'm just taking it seriously. I'm out, because even though this is an ecchi entry, like it still has to be interesting enough to keep people's attention past the joke that's gonna get old, after like 3 episodes. So for that, I'm out.
Would I watch it? No. But if I had to choose it based on whether or not it would sell, yes, because this is absolutely something that would sell. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think people are watching ecchi for deep commentary and interesting characters. They just want the titillation, and that's it.
Give me those tiggle bites.
Why do you think? Why are
right.
you here, Sensei is selling
You're right.
Monster Musume. They sell. Man, you know how much that character's figure was and how much it sold for? People are buying that too.
Or that 70-foot long like body pillow.
Yes.
Yes. Maximum.
So
comfort.
yeah, if you make some really sexy characters that sell, you got it.
I'm with Enzo. If this was like had that wholesome turn like Golden Boy, like if he goes out to save Japan but he ends up like saving himself and like, oh, I love it. Like we could just put a GoPro on Kazuo and just rotoscope the resuls. Like
Literally,
that's
though.
what I want to see. Mandi said it earlier, so I'm just stealing her joke. But I have to pass it because of my morals. But I think this would be like a cult classic.
It has potential to be that for sure.
Well,
I like the idea.
I don't know what you guys are talking about with Kazuo, because we went to Japan and wait, Kazuo, what?
NUDZPLZ.
That's so weird.
What?
Nudes, please.
Well, you didn't get any nudes in Japan, Kazuo, because you weren't exactly saving the world in Japan. The only guy in Japan who ever made an effort was me. I'm the man.
Oh my god.
It's true.
Okay,
It's
it was not
true.
wrong.
Just
It's
an
true.
effort, though.
It's just an effort. I wasn't gonna.
Just an effort.
Wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna defile the poor girl. She was way too nice for that. But listen, we're gonna have to have a little work here on the merchandising. How about once upon a time, I went into a porn store in Akihabara and I saw the Shingeki no Kyojin, the literal a dildo modeled after the Titans from Attack on Titan.
Oh, I saw that too.
And there it was for
J-List had it.
I'm sure they did for like $100. Here's this thing that would rip you apart. Well, Dong. He's, as you say, his superpower is in his name. So maybe we got to have like some. Let's think big here. We're thinking, and I don't mean just big like in his dong. I'm talking like Dong's sex tips, for livening up the bedrooms. Dong's supplements for helping for the same purpose. And you know what? You just throw in some Dong dildos and whatever, and you're good to go. Because it's
Dongs ding dongs. and
Dongs ding
into the
dongs.
snacks. Yeah.
Oh, and those ding dongs, they're no joke. So let me just say, they are some good shit. And so I'm in because I think that you'll go along with the expansion of merchandising. Be based on the premise, and I think you hit it right on the head with the DVDs, with the uncensored DVDs, because I know those sell. So I guess I'm in, and I'm kind of sad because we're not using any of these drops, even though they're not really all that new. But we're not using the mean drops. You guys are just too good today.
They're just too good.
All
I don't
right.
have
I
money,
think
so
we're
I'll give them
really
all
harsh.
money.
We were really harsh last time, and I think we inspired some better responses this time. And I appreciate everyone who writes in, though. I love it.
All right. HP Fusion writes, show name is Eros, Studio Madhouse. So we're already making tons of money because we're not paying anybody shit.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying them in like carrots and like potato skins. It's like ridiculous. So episodes, 2 seasons, 24 episodes each. Woo! That's a big. We're reaching for big things here. Summary: 100 years ago, I presume this was, 20 countries were at war, and out of nowhere, a magical dome was formed in one country. In the current day, 2 remaining equally powered countries are still at war, and they have been at a stalemate for over a decade. The key to winning the war is believed to be found in the dome. Viva los Biodome! Sorry, that was just me. Gaines, an adventurous teenager, is keen to discover the secret power that lies within the dome. Through events, Gaines, who will be certainly voiced by Pauly Shore, is chosen to enter the dome through an entrance which is revealed every 5 years and is only open for a limited time, 2 minutes. As soon as Gaines enters the dome, he gets a magical tattoo on his arm, which is a map which leads him to what he assumes to be a great magical power. follow the journey of gains as he finds clues, makes friends, and finds his way into the gym and drinks lots of protein, in which he will obtain massive gains. Sorry, just kidding. That's me again. And faces morally challenging situations which challenge his belief in humanity. Find out what lies at the end of the journey and what is the history behind the dome. How's it going to make money? Well, this is already going to be a popular adventure battle shonen manga like Hunter x Hunter and One Piece, so lots of hype exists for anime to be adapted. A lot of good waifu and husbando merchandise will be sold. Mobile game will be adapted. DVDs will be sold. We'll get this distributed by Funimation. Wow.
Sounds like Tower of God, except Tower of Dome.
Very presumptuous success.
Tower of Dome.
He's trying to sell it.
The show will be good because it will be good.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not really all that sold on it. It doesn't. I mean, I can't really just assume it's going to be successful because you say it is. But an anime where a guy just goes into a dome and gets a magical tattoo and I presume fights lots of things isn't really, I don't know, necessarily.
It'll sell.
Will it?
I mean, shonen still do.
I mean,
They're
he
still
said
very
it,
popular.
He said, and I presume he said it's going to be at the level of One Piece. So that's saying something. But I don't know. I'm just not really sold.
Here's a tip for submitting a shonen thing to this. It's like you can't just give me the premise of a shonen because we're all gonna be bored of just reading a shonen premise. What you need to tell us is what the animation is gonna look like, what the direction is gonna look like, like what kind of themes you're gonna try and tackle here. Because exploring a dome for secret power is like not that interesting on its own. It's gonna be everything else that makes it more memorable in my mind to want to invest in this one.
Unless Pauly Shore's in it,
right? Then I'm in for anything, of course. But then then money making. Yeah, obviously having good waifus and husbandos will be solid because anime be anime. But like, you're saying this is already gonna be a popular adventure battle shonen manga. Like, says who?
Oh shit, I'm out.
Says the dome. Says the dome.
Says the dome. The five head dome. But yeah. So I mean, would I like to see a good anime with this kind of premise? Sure, but you didn't tell me why it's good.
Listen,
so,
if anybody's gonna recognize a dome, it's gonna be the bald man. Okay.
Yeah.
Dome recognized dome, and you're looking kind of unfamiliar right now. Sorry.
Oh my god.
What?
Damn, he said you got hair, and I don't. That's what he said.
I feel like you put the details. Like, I'm more interested in the dome than the character. Like, why is it every 5 years? Why is it only open for 2 minutes? And then you're like, oh, but there's a power system and fantasy stuff.
But the show's name is Arrows, so maybe it's a dome of love.
Oh, fuck.
Mandi with the insights.
Boy. It's the dome of dong.
Every man has one, and it's also bald.
It's the dimmadome dong dong.
Yeah, and also another thing is you point out 2 seasons of 24 episodes. So you're telling us to go along for 48 episodes on this premise, bro?
That's gonna be a no
HB.
for me.
HB, you've been around the block. We've talked before. Come on, man. It's a good starting. It's a good step one.
We're
we need
out.
more details for 2 seasons.
We're out. Be fed.
I can't watch you kill money that way. Children are going to watch this.
You know, Kevin,
They're going to watch you kill money.
That's the beauty of the show.
You're murdering money in front of children.
I didn't get to say anything. But...
Oh, sorry, Mandy.
No. I mean, still, it's to be honest though, it sounds like a shonen that would sell because I mean, Black Clover's still going. Fire Force is really popular. So I don't know, but no, it's not one that I would probably check out unless it's. See, Hunter x Hunter and One Piece have a clown character. Let me see what your clown character looks like.
And does he have tight man buns?
The next one is from Caleb the Canuck. The title is Wendigo Pass. The genre is psychology horror. I think they meant psychological horror, maybe. The studio is Studio Dean, Geno Studio, or KyoAni, just so it's extra beautiful when they snap and start eating each other. In the year 1840, 6 men are attempting to map a route through an unexplored mountain range. After losing horses to disease and injury, and with the season beginning to turn, they make a small cabin to wait out the winter with their supplies, what supplies they have left. The deep snow makes even gathering firewood an enormous task, and as the weeks drag on and food is running low, they begin to fight among themselves. After a particularly vicious argument, one of them disappears, only to be found days later in the woods, eaten, the body in such a state that determining if he was killed by man or beast is impossible. Their bottled up tension turns to suspicion, all accusing each other while telling lies to try to throw suspicion off themselves until none of them quite remember what's even true anymore. Then more people start to die. Food running low, killing the others is one's best chance to survive. And after all, if you don't know for sure who the killer is, you still have to sleep in the same room as them. Think Higurashi meets the witch with isolated people losing their minds. Also think that this sounds like what was it? Before Dawn. Tagline is the monster outside. Is it even real, or is it sleeping right next to you? Money-making scheme tie-in with various survival and camping food gear companies. I've never seen anime-themed camping supplies. Have you?
You could have like human like meat spice or meat seasoning.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It sounds similar to other things I've seen for sure. Like I just said, Before Dawn. Sounds like that, but except not in 1840. It's a bunch of teenagers going into a cabin in the woods. The question is, will you have a good backstory for what started the Wendigos? Because Wendigos come about from cannibalism in mythology. So what is the backstory here about this area?
I don't think people watch horror shows. You know,
I do.
I mean, we know Mandi loves horror.
I do.
But my impression of like living in Japan and just being an anime fan is that like there's not a whole lot of people in Japan that watch horror. I mean, that's just my impression. And sometimes a business decision is all about your instinct. And my instinct tells me that people don't watch horror. And that's why you don't see horror anime getting made. And so I also don't think you're going to make any money off camping gear. So I'm out.
Apparently Yuru Camp had camping dishes, chat says. That's pretty cute.
Interesting.
That's pretty cute. Yeah, I am primarily out because of money making scheme. And that is also entwined with the fact that for me to buy into a horror premise, I need the premise to just give me like the immediate gut check that it is really good. I think this one is interesting. Survival shows are always interesting at a base level, but I kind of need because you chose horror, you know, for better or worse. Because you chose horror, I'm a little bit more careful because horror does not sell well. It often falls flat in anime for me, like as in it's not scary or like, you know, pushes me to like a interesting uncomfortable place, which is what I like from horror. So for those reasons, I'm out. Should this premise be fleshed out more with more like specific details as to why this is going to be like an interesting watch, then maybe I would be more bought into it. But for now, I'm good.
Yeah, this is a show I would definitely watch. I think, especially with that KyoAni idea, if they kind of fuse the mystery of Hyoka with like the fantasy darkness of like Beyond the Boundary, that could be a cool mix. Yeah, so I would definitely watch it, but I don't think it would be successful in the profit way. So from a Shark Tank perspective, I'm going to deny it.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out. Maybe I'm getting caught up on the title being Wendigo because I'm assuming that you're going for a Wendigo. I'm not sure if it's just the name of the area, but if it is, Wendigos that I know of don't disguise themselves as people. Like you would be able to tell there's a Wendigo in the room because they're pretty massive with antlers.
I would hope it's only alluded to, but never shows up. Like it's not actually a Wendigo.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a cannibal.
Yeah.
That actually sounds pretty cool. That's something that I would definitely check out, but it wouldn't make money though, unfortunately.
So I guess we're out.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I've looked at the valuation and I say, are you guys out of your friggin' minds?
Boom.
The next one comes from Anime Arguments returning superstar Cream Puff. The name of this one is Our Bloody Love Story, done by Studio Kyoto Animation or David Production. It's going to be a slice of life comedy romance, 12
Okay.
episodes long, and of
Okay.
course a second season if the first is successful. So
Okay.
we're not signing up for 2. The plot is the story of Hiroshi and Kohaku and starting their new lives together along with their new dog Kira. So it's already got a dog, so I'm in.
Oh,
These two, however, might have just made their lives more difficult, seeing as they are both assassins.
Okay.
What?
Oh.
I'm in.
The show would be mainly episodic and shows the daily life of couples, but with deadlier twists, from grocery shopping, arguing with neighbors, meeting each other's family, and going out on dates. The dog themselves would get their own episode where they stop a home invasion using the skills their master taught them. This should help show a few otaku something about being in a relationship and how that would be badass. So this
Okay.
sounds like the oh my goodness, what's
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Smith with the stay-at-home
House husband.
House husband, yes. It's like a mashup of the two. But yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith is definitely what I was thinking of.
I
off the
love
bat.
it. I'm in 1000%.
I think this would be a better Dogakoba show more than KyoAni. But I'm on the fence. You guys convince me.
I think quality wise, I see why you would pick Kyoto Animation for something like this. But I do think that style is not gonna be as giving, because you want something that's gonna. I'm assuming in this you want like really interesting like facial reactions or like deadpan reactions to things. That's the kind of energy I'm getting. Like I forgot what studio did Surazura's Children, but I think like that studio that did that could do this really well. And yeah, I think this premise is wonderful. It's something that I would definitely pick to be something I review on the podcast. I think, see, this is the kind of thing that's interesting. Cream Puff did not have to put in the fact that the dog gets to their own episode, but you did, and it's interesting because it's the dog saving a home invasion from happening using skills that they see their masters do. See, that's a kind of twist right there that gives a show a certain pop. For example, when you look at shows like Kaguya-sama, when we first saw the Chica dance, they didn't have to do all that. They didn't have to do that, but like it's something that they throw in there in season 1, and it's just like, oh, that's another thing that adds to the charm of the show. So like, Mason, did you just grammatically edit?
Yeah. Show notes, people. Show notes.
I'm like, true. Show notes, people. Shouts out to them. But yeah, Cream Puff, I think good idea. You didn't mention how you would make money though. So I'm not. It's kind of hard to believe in the money aspect of this, right? You guys don't see the money thing, right?
There's no money in love, Enzo. What are you talking about?
This is quite true.
To be honest, I've just been paying attention to the synopsis because I don't really care. I don't have money to
Right,
give you
yeah.
also. I'm just judging whether or not the story sounds cool.
I think this, given that we're in a post Kaguya-sama world where like a slice of comedy romance can be really successful and beloved in 2020, I think I'm in for this show. I think this has potential a whole bunch. I mean, this is like if you gave me Kaguya-sama, in weird intertwining with like My Roommate Is a Cat, like that kind of vibe. Let's get it. Like I'm down. I'm down. This is good.
Can Sunrise do it and give me Gintama expressions?
I
would love it.
Yeah. I see that. Yeah.
I'm out because you didn't follow instructions. It's kind of like being in school. Like read the directions and follow them. But I still love you. But I'm out. But I don't think it matters because you still win. So congratulations. All right, last one.
Last one comes from I always struggle with his name. I think it's just Thuga. Silent C, CTHUGA, and they say Vampire Slayer Danjiro and his boxed in sister wait. This is a troll. I'm going to read this, but this is a troll. Okay. Vampire Slayer. Danjiro and his boxed-in sister Mezuko travel the countryside in search of a cure for Mezuko's condition and to slay the antagonist, Smooth Criminal. Oh my god. In his 12 Thriller Moons. This is a poor, low-render ripoff of Demon Slayer and will be sold by bootleggers and back alleys, if the main audience being those who can't afford or don't want to buy legit copies. This will be a foundation for many other plagiarized and bootlegged anime, which will amass a fortune until we are shut down by the Chinese legal system after several international lawsuits and must move to Somalia to continue operations, until we die in a shootout with the Somali security forces on piles of money and bootleg DVDs, victims of the new world filled with even lower quality bootleg anime we have birthed. This benefits absolutely none of us. Think Jack Black's Be Kind Rewind and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker mixed together. Hulk Hogan, brother. Okay, so here's where you missed your opportunity. You could
It's already been done.
Yeah. Well, one, this probably exists already. Two, you in trolling, you missed an opportunity to make an interesting anime. You could have made the anime about bootleggers of anime that do all of this and try to survive, make money. They get caught. You know, you can see their writing process. Say I don't know, like KyoAni, like say like Mappa has this, right? Mappa's doing this. Mappa could like in this anime use Mappa shows to like make shitty renditions of for the show, and they could do it because they have all the rights to do that, right? Like you could have made the plagiarizing the show and have your situation be the comedic outplay of everything. You know, like
Gintama does that every other episode.
I've come to learn through many that Gintama has done everything, which is
Yeah, it has literally everything.
which is actually fucking fantastic. So for obvious reasons, because you didn't give me what I'm saying, you're giving me this. I'm out because I don't think we'll make massive money off Vampire Slayer, because once one person buys the bootleg, guess what? It's uploaded to the internet immediately and no one's buying it ever since. So I'm out, but next time think outside the box you're thinking in, because you could have sold me on that anime that I mentioned.
I'm out because you didn't follow the instructions. Oh, no, wait, oh, did you? Wait, continue
No.
operations to shoot out with piles of money and blue DVDs. Victims of, I still think nope.
The money making is selling the bootleg of Demon Slayer.
Here, the money making came first, and then the synopsis and everything came after.
Hey guys, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's also a joke.
I want to see the Be Kind Rewind of anime, where like some like unartistic otaku has like the last remaining like version of something, and they're like, oh shoot, I need to preserve this. The only way me and my friends know how, and they try their best to like recreate it with all its charm. That could be cool, but not this.
Yeah.
Not this.
Not this. Close. You're
I'm
on
out.
the precipice of something interesting there, but not today, friend. We're all out.
I can't tell you how many people come to me and say, if I can get 1% of 1% of the billion, zero from zero is still zero.
There you
But
go.
thanks for the laughs.
Thanks for the laughs. Well, I put 2 of them back in our mailbag, so we will get to those next time. But thanks as always, everybody, for submitting. And the goofy entries are appreciated. They're good comic relief.
They are.
Having a few of those in there is good. So no hard feelings if we don't want to invest.
So if you have any ideas, if you were inspired, go to the mailbag section of our website, submit your own, and we would love to read them. And follow the instructions so Mitz is not angry anymore. And with
so
that,
angry.
we have time for our second news break. So we leave you with a trivia question. In Dorohedoro, what anime did Kaiman and Nikaido want to win by killing zombies on the Day of the Living Dead? We'll tell you in just a bit. Stay tuned.
See you soon.
Hey, all you anime addicts, Mitsuki's back one more time, and I'm bringing you your anime news break. Well, this time we're going to talk a little COVID because there's some good news here because a lot of shows are being brought back. So Chibi Maruko-chan has resumed its anime after being delayed, as has Sazai-san. So that is also good news. It looks like some other properties as well are coming back, including Major Second and others. There are some more delays out there as well, but just so you know, anime are starting to now announce when they're coming back as opposed to just being delayed one thing after another. It is probably worth noting, without any real evidence, that the summer 2020 anime season's down to only about 18 shows, which is probably due to COVID. So very much smaller slate of anime being released in the summer, which might just mean that you're going to have some pretty large size seasons later on. Speaking of COVID, Tokyo has lifted its COVID-19 alert and aims to let music venues reopen on June 19th. They had reinstated their alert throughout Tokyo because there had been a small spike in COVID cases in the Tokyo region, but they have recently relifted that and are entering the, quote, final stage of their recovery roadmap for the virus, but they're going to continue to be vigilant. It's going to be a long time until treatment or vaccination is available, so they're going to be learning to sort of live and maintain the levels of the virus until those types of treatments are available. And Japan taking their situation very seriously and probably handling things as best they can. Next up in the news, some sad news. The Banner of the Stars and Crest of the Stars music creator Katsuhisa Hattori has passed away at age 83. So due to heart failure, he composed music for anime such as Crest of the Stars, Banner of the Stars, Fist of the North Star, Infinite Revias, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, Sushi Ninja, and others. So also he worked for, helped to assist Nobuo Uematsu when they produced the symphonic suite Final Fantasy. So a very sad time in Japan to one of the more prolific and more successful music creators in our industry. So our heart goes out to his family, of course. And next up, Carol and Tuesdays manga is ending in July. They had a manga was being created following the original anime that was directed by Shinichiro Watanabe, the director of Cowboy Bebop. The manga adaptation of Carol and Tuesday was done by Morito Yamataka and debuted in Kadokawa's Young Ace magazine back in May of 2019. The series had 2 compiled books shipped on February 4th, and it looks like they are going to be wrapping this up in July. This is Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, of course, time to get back to the podcast right now. Anime Addicts, the AAA podcast, is always trying to bring you new and exciting ways to enjoy our content, and now we have an exclusive member-only RSS feed on the site that is going to let you access our hentai episodes, our Hobby Addicts, and our After Parties episodes, all from your favorite mobile apps. That's an additional 8 episodes of content per month just for you, and you can listen to it through Apple Podcasts app, you can listen to it through Podcast Addicts, Pocket Cast, Overcast FM, Downcast FM, etc., onward and onward. So many mobile apps for you to choose from. If you were holding back on supporting the podcast because you didn't like listening to our extra content through our website, now you can get it and listen to it the same way you enjoy all your other podcasts. So pitch in, help out the podcast, do a good thing, and you will get all this extra content and an exclusive member RSS feed for you to enjoy. That's aaapodcast.com/join and support the podcast.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。You know me? Of course!
Welcome back. You're so addicted to anime that you just couldn't leave? In Dorohedoro, what item did Kaiman and Nikaido want to win by killing zombies on the Day of the Dead? An item she never needed because she loses her shit chopping meat in the opening, but it's a meat grinder, so... What? Alright. Well, that was fun. Yeah, Nikaido's a little, she's a little unstable. We'll just go with that. And with that, let's head into our 5-star review.
It's time for iTunes review.
King N, which I assume is a reference to 12 Kingdoms, so big respect. Started listening in 2018 and can't stop. Thank you for making this otaku's anime addiction worse. And all hail the Church of Mitsugi.
All hail the Church of Mitsugi.
That's right. That's right. Okay. And again, guys, we are still low on 5-star reviews. They keep coming in, but just not at a rapid click. And I don't want to run out, so let's keep them coming. Don't make me grovel. Don't make me do it. I'm on my knees in a $500 suit. I have dropped at least 7 movie references today.
You're on a movie flick dropping.
Well, do you know what
right
reference
now.
that is?
Heck no.
It's Liar Liar, brother.
I'm bad. I'm bad at movies. I've seen so many movies, but I'm bad at referencing them.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that being said, time for some mailbags.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Put your hands down.
Anime.
Put them down. Mailbag. Oh, gosh.
Put your hands down. Raises them higher.
Mailbags are great. They're a good thing. If you want to submit a mailbag to the show, you go to aapodcast.com. And then you click on the mailbags button. We just made it easy for you because, life is hard enough as it is. You know what I'm saying? The first one comes in from Yotaro Vegeta, and he says, I hope you can follow this logic. If your favorite musical artist was based purely on how many times you have encountered that music act in anime, who would your favorite artist be? What? Yeah,
Like what?
Yeah, no. Probably just out of sheer amount of how much I know this. Yeah, probably Asian Kung Fu Generation. Would be mine for sure.
Yoko Kanno.
I said Flow, maybe. Not that they're my favorite band, but I was thinking they've been in so much though, from Naruto, Dorohedoro, what was it? Kogias. Yeah, literally, they're in tons of stuff. So that was the first first group that I thought of.
Yeah, I put down the Asian Kung Fu Generation, like Enzo said, Lisa, and then I also said I've seen Fooly Cooly so many times. I guess I gotta give a nod to the pillows.
Well, I guess mine would be Beck, because I've seen Beck a million times. So.
What other openings has Lisa done? I'm trying to remember.
Besides
Demon Slayer.
There's so many I didn't even bother to write them down, but I will look it up right now. And
Angel Beats. See, I haven't seen Nisekoi. Oh, I forgot Sword Art Online.
Lisa openings, google.com. Oh boy.
Angel Beats, My Hero, Fate, Demon Slayer, Nisekoi, Sword Art Online.
Okay, next mailbag.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's me. I was busy looking at Mekakusa the actors. Anyway, comes from Anaxu, and they say, "Hi, long-time listener here. I have a question request. Is it possible to give a link/source of where you can see the anime you review or do an impression of? Keep up the good work." And I feel like we've been in recent episodes really trying to say, "Hey, we're talking about this show. You can find it at XYZ platform." But if you have the show notes, we also hyperlink all the shows that we talk about, as well as not only on My Anime Lists or any list or site like that, but also how to get to the streaming directly. So if you want that extra love, go to the show notes.
Alrighty, now time for our review.
Oh boy.
Which is Dorohedoro, which was passed by me back on episode 510. It's from the winter. And this is out on Netflix. And yeah, it's a manga adaptation from my manga by Q Hayashida. And I did a manga minute on it ages ago. Like, I read the first volume and was like, manga minute material now. And then we did it for Manga Club, and that was a really fun club too. And but this was adapted by Studio Mappa, and the director was Yuichiro Hayashi, who did Kakegurui. And Dorohedoro is the manga is a cult classic. It's a very popular manga among the manga community, and I remember it was always for a while on the list of mangas least likely to ever get an anime adaptation, right next to Vinland Saga. Now they both have anime, which is great. But it is a dark fantasy world in a place just known as the Hole, and the denizens there are not living a fantastic life. It's a very dangerous world that they live in, a lot of weird stuff that you can find there. And the reason for that is because there is another separate dimension from where the Hole is, where sorcerers reside. And sorcerers like to go to the Hole to practice their magic or their sorcery on the denizens of the Hole, which can either mutilate them, kill them, sometimes leave them with body parts that are not human, like bugs, insects, or in the case of Kaiman, our main character, a giant lizard head. But we're introduced to Kaiman, who has amnesia. He woke up with this lizard head and does not remember how he got it. But now he does know that inside his mouth there is a head in there, and if he puts anyone, if he bites a sorcerer's head, the guy inside of his mouth says, "You're not the one." So he is on a quest to try and find out where the heck his head is and who put the spell on him, alongside his friend Nikaido, who is a very lovely lady. And there's just so many good women in the show. I love them all. But yeah, it's a very dark, gritty, very violent series with a lot of humor as well. So with that, let's go into our expectations going in.
Expectations for me were because in my Brooklyn anime meetup, like, a lot of people were really liking this show, like, as it was airing. So like I was catching winds of the excitement of my members. So like when I saw we were doing this one next, I was like, oh, we're doing the show that I tried a while ago with my meetup that I paused on because I knew we were going to do it later. But they kept going, kept getting really excited about it. So I was going into it expecting it to be good.
I pretty much knew what I heard on the podcast, so people were like, just wait till you get to Dorohedoro. Those are people not on the podcast, and then on the podcast I hear like...
their names are Mandi and Mason.
I think I heard people were saying that from like... just like people in my personal life, I think. But you guys were like, lizard head, biting off heads and shit. I was like, oh, wow. There's like a lot of head things going on in this show. I don't know. I never know what's going on before I watch these.
My first impressions, sort of like a mini Mandi. I had read a bit of the manga, and while it was neat, I stopped pretty early on because at that point I knew that there was an anime adaptation coming, and I was like, you know what? I kind of want that to be more of my first impression. So I probably read half of what the anime covered. So it was a mix of both, of seeing it adapted and seeing it fresh.
Very much the same. I read, I could be wrong. I think I read 5 volumes, and I didn't go any further because first of all, it was during part where I was reading so many manga. But man, I think Mason was also. You were also there. You were there at our manga club when we did it, or were you out that day?
I don't remember talking about it. So I read it, but
Okay.
I think I was out for most of it.
In our manga club, I think everybody had so much fun reading it, and it was very interesting. But I was very concerned going into the anime because Q Hayashida's artwork is very different. It's very sketchy, very has its own unique style to it, and it's hard for me to picture that going into animation, similar to like Junji Ito, where I was like, Junji Ito is really hard to adapt. But yeah, so I was really nervous going in, especially seeing that a lot of it was CG. So I was timid going in.
And the first PVs did not
Yes.
look great. I was, like you said, excited and concerned were the two big emotions I had.
Big same. And with that, let's go into our spoiler-free recommendations.
Yeah, I can. So I gave my expectation first. So I'll just do this one first, real quick. Yeah, this was a refreshing punch of like action, comedy, flair, like all these really good things that I have found myself missing in anime. Dorohedoro gave to me out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it to give this to me, but like it was just a refreshing like ride in how anime can definitely be allowed to be absurd and make no sense in a beautiful way, and just like and as long as like the characters are fun and you're having fun, it doesn't fucking matter that shit's weird. You're just having fun. It's a good time. So like I would recommend this anime to, you know, people that don't mind some like bloody action, people that don't mind, you know, characters that are just weird as hell, and like just like strange, like villains that are just strange. It's like if you like it's, I don't know, it's just a really fucking fun ride. It's wild. It's wild in the purest essence of the word wild. So if you want that kind of like tornado of like whirlwind shit, Dorohedoro's for you. It's fun. I recommend it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much recommendable to most people. I put this anime in like the bucket of it's like it's in there with like Shingeki no Bahamut Genesis and I don't know, it's just like it's mostly like, to me it's mostly like a style show. Like it's mostly like, oh, it's like run around and like, you know, have fun and, you know, bleed style and be violent. But like I think that like there are people that won't like this anime. Like I assume this anime is going to be very long. Like this is not the end of it. But like this first season, it's not a whole lot of like story happening. Like, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but like to me it was mostly like, oh, the world above, it's like Final Fantasy VII. The world above is all happy and the world below sucks. And I got to find a guy who put a lizard head on me. That's like the whole plot, basically. So I think if people like want to have like a very energetic, very good looking show that is fun and is along the lines of like the Bahamut Genesis, like Blockade Battlefront type, just like vibrant kinetic energy, but not like a lot of seriousness, like that, this is a great show for those people. If you're like if you're the person that wants to have like, you know, very serious sort of story happening, like where you would have to sit down and explain the story to somebody, this is not it. Like, so, but that said, like, you know, it's obviously that's not their goal here. So probably recommendable to most people. Like if you're averse to violence, like you're not really going to want to watch this for sure, because people are getting like I mean, he literally cuts a guy into like 40 pieces in the first 3 minutes of the first episode. So I mean, definitely not for the people that, you know, don't want to watch violence, but yeah, it's mostly recommendable, I think.
So I talked about how the PV started off not looking good, and I'll be honest, episode 1 did not look good either. And most anime, episode 1 is the strong point. The animation is as fluid as it will be, the action is bombastic, the backgrounds are bursting with life. And so for episode 1 of this to not look good was kind of like, just like, oh, well, there it goes, they blew their shot. Guys, stick with it past episode 1. Mappa went on to kill it. This show looks better as it goes on. It flows better as it goes on. There's nothing quite like this show out there. It's like a blend of Berserk, Beastars, and stylistically Baccano, just in a blender. Just, you got darker moments, you have unique comedy moments, you get animal people, you get magic powers, and you get an ending that will leave you begging for season 2. And I think a good sign is that this manga series is over. It's 23 volumes long. We got through about 7 of them. So I think, you know, having that end in sight can definitely help pace and prepare the future seasons to come to not be drawn out. But concise and as good as the first. So yeah, highly recommended. I don't think anyone shouldn't check it out. And it's the like Enzo said, and I'll probably say 7 more times, wild in all the best ways.
Yeah, agree. I super recommend watching it. I love the manga, what I read of it so far, and I would love to finish it. I'm planning on just whenever I get the chance, just collecting the entire series because I enjoyed it so much. It's yeah, it has a little bit of everything, and it's dark and violent, but also some really funny character moments, some really great characters to fall in love with. Kyu Hayashida has such a crazy imagination. She has created such an interesting world and all of these different little details about how magic works and how each of their society functions, and yeah, it's just really fascinating. Like, the magic in here isn't something that, it's not like your typical, like, I shoot fire or I shoot lightning. It's very interesting. Like, they all have very different, oh man, I don't know, all the characters are just so cool, especially the women. She has created some amazing women. Noi is just a big buff girl who I just love. She's so adorable and amazing, and
strong.
Best
yeah, and also after reading the manga, like Mason said, it is finished, so there is an end in sight, but I don't think it's going to be quite as long as the manga, like the anime, because I did notice that they were cutting some of the slice of life moments out. There's like a whole chapter about Kaiman boxing that they took out, and like a bunch of other little slice of life moments in there that they're taking out to focus on just the main story of Dorohedoro. So yeah, no, I highly recommend checking out the anime if the manga's art style is too chaotic for you. And yeah, with that, let's go into spoilers.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
We did it. They adapted it, boys. I can't believe it.
Finally.
Yeah, it's.
Oh my goodness,
dude! This was so fun to watch.
It's a very fun series, yeah.
Like, for real. Cause like I said in the spoiler free section, I feel like it's been a little bit of a minute since we had a like unabashedly, not to the extent of Fooly Cooly, but like something that allowed itself to be just fucking weird and flashy, but not in like but like in a good way. Like, it felt good. Like, I wanted this show to get weirder, to take me there, because I trusted them. Like, I trusted the production staff to like do it well. It wasn't weird for weird's sake. It was weird because it was a choice they made because they thought it'd be because they knew they could deliver it well. Because I guess the source material must have given them a good baseline for it, right? So like, fuck, man. So I don't know what you guys want to tackle
Mandi,
first.
where do you want to go with this?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and just start with the characters, because it mostly focuses on the characters. We do get the idea, or we do get the background story of what Kaiman is looking for, and we're definitely closer to that goal towards the end. And there are a lot of things in here that I didn't read in the manga. I don't remember them ever in the manga bringing up the what his actual head looks like. I can't remember. I think we got to that point, but it wasn't like a really solid, like the person that N resurrected was actually kind of like had the exact same face as Kaiman's head. There's still a lot of mystery in there, but yeah, let's go ahead and just start tackling characters from Kaiman and Nikaido, who are both amazing.
Biggest problem with the show is that there are too many good characters. I feel like a lot of people will come in and being like, Kaiman is the main character, and it's his quest to find the head, so I want to watch that story. And they expect it to be about Kaiman every episode advancing. And no, there are just so many good characters. Like, we're going to give you this person's backstory and this person's motivations and this person's reason to be. And you're like, but they're all interesting. I like them all. I want to know what happens to Kaiman, but I want to know about this character. And it's just too much goodness for 12 episodes. And I felt like the show inspires you to ask all these questions and care about them, that you're just like, we need more. So the biggest problem is everyone is great. Everyone is amazing.
Best bird is Turkey, for sure.
He's based because he literally based.
Yeah. No, Go ahead.
I was gonna say, when his creatures bleed, they don't bleed. They like sauce. Like, they ooze like food stuff. God, there's so much food in the show. I love it. Those gyozas are fire.
I want gyozas so bad after. I'm with Mason. I think this is a beautiful act of balance between having so many characters that have shit to say and shit to show, and we got to see. I think a good. It gave me at least a good amount of each that I was satisfied and I wasn't like sad. For example, like I really love Shin. I love Shin. I think he's really interesting, and and not only did I get to his background, but I got to see, but like we get to see enough of him where he's not one dimensional. He's not just like some buff bro that kills for N. He is like he is
a heartthrob.
He's a heartthrobby. I mean, I think he's pretty handsome, but I think it's important that even though he has this crazy job, he has such a nice heart. And it's and it's shown because when he runs into Professor Kasabe, right? Like, it's I think it was really cool that when they're in the sorcerer world and he like is about to kill the professor, he realizes, oh wait, I fucking know you, and like you did me well in the past. I'm gonna break the rules a little bit and let you live, like because it makes like and I think that's cool. So and so many characters got that treatment. Shin got that treatment. Noe got that treatment. I love Noe's whole progression. I love that she used her powers to save Shin, right? Because that's wonderful. Like because friends, because fuck, like that's cool. I cannot believe we got so much substance in 12 episodes with these characters.
I think a lot of them they're not one-dimensional characters. They have so many different sides to them, and I think it's interesting when we are first introduced to Kaiman, we think sorcerers are really bad people. They come down here and just fuck up everybody's lives. We see them in hospitals with bug parts on them. They're experimenting on them. But then when we get to know some of the sorcerers, we're like, oh, they're not all of them aren't that bad. Like, there are some good ones. I mean, morally gray.
I was gonna say, as good as they can be.
But I love and adore Noi and Shin's relationship so much to the point where I was like, I just want more of them. Can we just get a whole series on them?
Relationship goals. The scene where they're signing the contract and putting it in each other's chest, and like the look that they look at each other. It's like that's the best relationship I've seen in anime in so long. That's immense goals. Like. I will say her using the term senpai a lot was a little odd, and it just was like, I don't mind it, but it just wore me a bit. But when she's just like at a party and just chomping on the food under hanging corpses, I knew she was.
They are not gonna let food go to waste, ever.
I loved it.
Should have watched it dubbed, Mason.
Oh, she didn't. Okay, that's nope. Still not going to convince me. But Nikaido is also great. She's just a great dumpling. She looks like Casey Jones with that Dio mask when she starts going off. Oh my goodness, she was probably visually like the most like inconsistent character. I felt like she was drawn with lots of different shading throughout it, but she was still amazing.
I like Nikaido a lot.
Great.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about like the different kind of magic that's in here? Because there's so many cool different kind of spells in here, and magic isn't like, or like the sorcery isn't like your typical kind of anime magic or sorcery. Like they come out of like black smoke that comes out of their fingertips, and like we have N who turns people into mushrooms and then eats them.
That's fucking weirdo.
Who loves dogs though? And I assume his
Yeah.
name was short for like the Enoki mushroom.
Yeah.
Like Enoki Take. So he's not bad. I mean, I like how they justify the existence of magic and how they stop it and how it's like a physical part of the body. Like it doesn't need to make sense like actually real world, but they make a reason, they have a system and they stick to it. And I always appreciate that.
I wanted more info on it though, because like there's that scene when Nikaido goes into the shop and she's like selling it, or she's pretending like she's going to sell the smoke, and the guy's like analyzing it, and I'm like, oh, well, there's like smoke quality. Like, I don't know. I think I wanted a little more about not just like what the smoke does, like, oh, this smoke makes a lizard head, and this smoke makes a mushroom, and, you know, whatever, this smoke heals you. You know, more about, I mean, they touched on it, so I mean, I kind of wish they had gone a little bit deeper into that, but I appreciate that they even went there at all. There were maybe 2 or 3 scenes when they were plugging like little smoke bottles into a microscope to look at it, but
I think it's really interesting that Noi's ability was to heal. Yeah. And so since you can't use that in combat at all, she just got real buff.
Leah, like
She can just punch people. I love her.
it's hysterical how skinny she was. Like when she was on her journey, like in that flashback where we learn about how her and Shin became partners, like how she was so skinny and small, but we didn't get to know her like that. We got to know her immediately as a fucking like Goliath, which is so dope. But I also like I personally really loved N a lot as well. Because he was just fucking strange, man. Like I watched the show dub, and I will say the voice acting for N was funny. I loved it. It was like I still chuckle at this one scene where like it's maybe like the first or second time that it's early on. It's like the first or second time that he summons Shin and Noi to his place, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, Ben? We're here reporting in," and he goes, "Good. Now it's time for tea." And it's just like
it's because he's not a big bad character. He's just a guy. He's got emotions.
Yeah.
He's got concerns. He's got an ego. He's got
a movie
going on.
It's so good. He's just so fucking weird. His attachment to Kakerage, whatever the dog, was so fucking
Kikurage.
funny. Kikurage, thank you. His attachment to Kikurage was just. I loved N. Like he's just weird. He gave me like What We Do in the Shadows vibes, which is amazing. Like he gave me such What We Do in the Shadows vibes. Like it's so fucking. Man. It's too many good characters in the show.
Can we talk about the most annoying but simultaneously big brain character of the bunch?
Which one?
Ebisu.
Ebisu, dude.
When
5 head.
she has a skull mask on,
God.
and it doesn't have a nose because you don't have bones there, and she like picks her nose through the hole in the mask, and I'm just like, she's thinking. She like pukes constantly on things like a bully
She's
sandwich.
amazing.
Shark mascot, obviously. Her transformation poses, legendary. And like her and Fujita are kind of just bland, just like components in the mix, but they just still add so much charm when they didn't even need to be there. But I'm not bothered.
Yeah, she's amazing. I love that when you're first introduced to her, that very first scene, you think she's going to be someone powerful, but then she ends up just being a comedic relief where she dies so many times. She was a zombie at one point, and they have to constantly keep fixing her. And then I think somebody in the show made a mention of like, maybe it's because she got hit so many times, that's what happened to her. She was just so off the wall, and I love all the different kind of things that she does, where she like stuffed her like bra and like made it look like she had these huge boobs.
Because she was jealous of Noi.
She was doing sexy dance.
So fucking funny.
Her shark dance, she's amazing. I love Ebisu. She always, so many scenes with Ebisu made me laugh.
Yeah. How was her? Yeah, Mitz, go ahead, because I saw your square guild that light up.
I just think this anime is a little too fun for me because I have like my head in my hands. Like, I mean, she's a little too close to Blockade Battlefront for me for this. Like, I'm not looking for that much fun. I don't know. I just found her to be completely insufferable. Her whole role in the show was just to be, to me, obnoxious. Like, I don't know. I'm too old, I guess, to get anything out of her. Like, these characters that like bounce around, they just like do dumb shit. Like, it's just not for me. Like, they're a little too like Lucky Star, I guess. So I guess for like the old men in the crowds, like picking your nose through masks and puking on things, and I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me. Like, I'm not really. Most of the rest.
For the old women in the crowd, she's good.
Well, some of us are a little older in our brains, I guess. I don't know. I'm probably.
Someone is only a week older than me, so.
I'm probably like 68 years old at least in my brain.
Mentally?
Mentally, yeah. So it's like, I forget my own name all the time. But like I said, the show's like really high energy, and that's like really great most of the time. Like, I appreciate the style and the movement and the fact that it's energetic and there's some good action scenes. But I don't know, I just don't really like connect with the stuff that I view as being like kind of, I don't know, juvenile, I guess is the word maybe. Like, I was having more fun when she got her face ripped off. Like, honest to God. Like, I was like, oh shit, yeah, rip her fucking face off. But I thought that was the best scene with her by far was when she got her face ripped off. But that's just because I'm not any fun.
And that was a brutal scene.
Yeah,
it was brutal.
When that happened,
physically
I was like,
recoiled.
oh, fuck. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, that really just happened. Okay, that's I guess, and then to me that was like the first one, like the big sign that I was like, oh, I'm in for a ride with this show, because that happens like episode what, 2, 1, 2?
Yeah, it's like right at the beginning. I think that I think my favorite parts of the show were the episodes where they had like the show does action, so does their action scenes so well, but I just feel like there weren't enough action scenes. Like there was a really great fight scene at the end of the Living Dead episode where they were killing the zombies, and then they have like their first confrontation of Shin and Noi and Nikaido, and and they can't really take them on head to head, but like it was a really great it's just like you're in that moment and there's all this atmosphere from the event that's happening, and then these characters that were destined to collide end up doing that, and then you get to see the fight. But there's just not enough scenes like that. I feel like I really, since they do it so well, it would have been nice to have a little bit more of that and a little bit less of like, the guy with the bird face like acting like an idiot. I don't know.
I love Shota.
I mean, he's fine, but like he's fine.
I thought he was hysterical.
He doesn't.
He's great.
He just doesn't. I don't know. He doesn't add much. I think my problem with the show is that it's all world building and there's no story. I know they're gonna get to it in season 2, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, season 1's a 5 out of 5 because I know the story will come later. Like this first season doesn't have a story. Like Kaiman looking for his head is not a story. So I mean, it's mostly world building. So like I got to throw that in there because I do think it's a criticism of the show. Like if you're a person that wants to have a story that like where something happens and the plot moves and there's an end goal and a conflict you're driving towards, it's not here. And that's kind of like how I felt about Blockade Battlefront. It's just all chaos and excitement, and there's not a lot of like let's put the words on the paper. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You guys were. I feel bad because I feel bad. You guys were so excited, and all I did was throw water on it. But
no, dude, no. We're gonna throw water back. So like
water fight.
It's no, not in an argument way. It's just like you also have to deal with us throwing water too. So like before, because that is what I want to tackle also in terms of story. But should we tackle Kaiman at all? Because
I love Kaiman.
I mean, in terms of character, because we haven't really tackled him.
We
just mentioned him.
He has a childlike funness to him, but he's also like a cool badass character that people can enjoy for lots of different reasons. I wouldn't say he's like Onizuka-esque, but he kind of feels a little bit like that because he kind of cares about people, but he's also a badass. It's a little complicated, but not too much so. And I don't know how many guys do you see with. I kind of wonder what his body like. You don't get to see like. I want to see where his head fuses to his neck more. Because it's like you got a lizard head, it's always covered up. But
draw me a diagram
for science.
They got some
science.
They got some great fucking masks in this anime.
They do.
Well, I'm so excited for the eventual cosplay meetups. This is gonna be ridiculous.
Yeah. More like masquerades.
The
Dorohedoro Masquerade 2021.
But yeah, like I kind of agree. I think Kaiman was really great to just be next to him for a lot of the show. I think he is a ride or die. He's a true homie. He's someone that has your back as long as you do right by him. So it's cool to have a character that is so just but not be perfect.
How was his voice? Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's because a lot of time in anime you'll get these like perfectly polished, just people with high morals are also just like perfectly polished. And you don't really get super often characters that are high in morals but also rough around the edges and will do immoral things in their in their pursuit of what they want to do. So it was cool to see a character just be so organic and like just be really like I think he's a perfect balance of all the things that are a part of the whole and that sorcerer world. Like it's just he was a good medium to like if the show was a roller coaster, he was like the most amazing like cart to ride the roller coaster with, to sit in, because he was someone you could vibe with, that he wasn't perfect, but he was compelling. You cared about him, he cared about others, he like gave you insight into other people, so like he was good to be next to as I guess like the main character of the show. So I think he's one of the best main characters I've seen in a minute in recent anime.
I like him.
I was gonna ask how he sounded in the dub.
I think he sounded great.
He sounds good. Yeah, the dub's good.
Yeah, I think he sounded great. I think the dub, just on the dub in general was pretty strong.
Yeah, I agree.
It was pretty fucking strong. Like I didn't really have Ebisu would probably be the only complaint I had sometimes. Like 10% of the time, 90% of the time, her one-liners were actually pretty funny. But yeah, no, solid voice acting in the dub. I watched it. I started in Japanese, and then as I got busier, I threw on the dub and
good strategy.
Well, yeah, because I just had shit to take care of.
Yeah,
but then I would always go back. Yeah, but for every fight scene and shit, like I would always go back and watch them all. I ended up watching most of it though, but some episodes I had to like just listen through. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I was just gonna say his voice in the sub and most people's were stupendous, and he was just a Joe Bro all the way through, and I loved it.
He's the same voice actor as Knuckle and
Okuyasu.
Okuyasu, yeah.
Yeah, Netflix nailed it. I mean, they seem to do a good job with the voicing most of the time.
Yeah. So, Mandi, is there any other characters we should tackle, or should we move to like the story critique?
I think we tackled most of the characters except for when we got to see a lot of the demons towards the end.
Right.
But
you're gonna leave out my boy Johnson just like that? Giant cockroach with Jordans on? Come on.
True, yeah, he is great. Shocking.
Oh, shocking. Oh my god, so funny. Shocking.
I mean, like Mitz kind of said, from a plot standpoint, there's really no point in. There wasn't a whole lot to it, but the plot that we got a lot of is like the backstories, and that was the best part. You see a character like Shin just fighting with a hammer this whole time, and they're like, "Oh, why is he? Well, he grew up being a carpenter," and you're like, "Oh, that makes complete sense. Why does like N hate smoke so much? Where does his like vendetta come from? Oh, we learned about the factory he grew up in or was sold to. Like these backstories don't advance the plot of Kaiman finding a head, but it helps world build. And like I said, and Mitz said, if you're looking for that end goal, it doesn't get you any closer. But I found them so well developed and attached to characters that I care for that I wasn't didn't bother me.
I guess for me, real quick here, is that like if you're gonna have this show has some of the best world building I've seen in a long fucking time in anime. Like it's a lot of detail and effort is spent on it, and the characters are perfectly fine. Like most of them are really good, but I feel like it's not that hard to develop the world while you're developing the plot line. You're in the world the whole time. You exist in it. The artwork in the backgrounds, the way the buildings look, the way the people look, the way the food looks, the way the sky looks, the two worlds that are on top of each other. All that can be communicated as you're telling the story. So to just spend the whole season just goofing around for most of the time, to me, it's just like you still develop the world building, but you just kind of forgot to do the story. And so
I feel like this argument comes up almost every anime that we do, where it's like Demon Slayer and all of them. It's like there's no story, except they do have a story. And the most, like at the base of it, these are all anime. It's entertainment. So was it entertaining for me? Did it keep me entertained? Yes.
But I mean,
that's what's most important to me.
I guess if I can explain the whole story of the season in 5 sentences, sure, there's still a story, but I mean.
Yeah, but is Golden Boy entertaining for you? Does it have a story that you can explain?
Golden Boy is entertaining because every episode is different, and there's a different thing happening every episode, and Golden Boy is definitely no masterpiece of storytelling. There's no doubt about that. So, I don't know, just maybe we just haven't reviewed an anime in a while that's had like a really rich story. Like where is the story that's like 10 type pages long? Like where is the deep story? That's my thought.
Here's where like I am in this conversation is like, if episode 12 ended at an ending, then I'd have a problem with the show. But episode 12 didn't end with an ending; it just ended, which is a clear indication that there's more, right? Yeah. So because there's no ending for me to give a critique on an ending, I can only give critique on setup, and the setup was masterful because I care about every fucking character and the two worlds that they live in. So on the next half of the show, where I will assume there will be an ending, I'm currently thinking I'm going to care about that ending a shit ton because in 12 episodes, I care about 10 plus characters and two worlds. already.
Well, I hope it has a second season because as of right now, it does not. So it's still it's still in pending. So a lot of anime have no second season, and they just say go read the manga, which is just like selling the manga. So like this will be an anime that desperately needs a second season because despite it being fun and unbelievably colorful, you didn't really get what I imagine. I don't even know what the story is. I'm sure there's a shitload more of it, but you didn't see it. So sure, if it gets a second season and it's got a great story, then you have a fucking awesome anime. If you have one season of the anime and then they say go read the manga, you have in something that's incomplete. So that concerns me because Netflix usually greenlights stuff pretty fast, and it's been in review for 4 months. So
I was going to say, on the ending itself, it was the most non-ending I've almost ever seen. It wasn't like we tied everything up, and it wasn't even this is a big cliffhanger, stay tuned. It was just, as I was watching, I was like, how are they going to wrap things up? And as it just kind of ended, like, as if there was so much more to come. Like, there was an unbelievable lack of an ending. And I will say, from what I read online, I think all the volumes of the manga are getting a reprint. And I think there are 6 OVAs called bonus curses that are coming down the line. So I'd be very surprised if this doesn't get a second season. But I agree with Mitz that we have to review what we currently have as if it is all that there will be. So
I hope it gets one. You know, I certainly think it deserves it. I mean, a lot of time and effort and detail was put into it. I think that unless you're a grumpy person like me, you probably enjoyed it a lot. But this has happened before. Like, let's not pretend that shows don't get like cut off at the knees because they do. You know, this has been. I feel like it hasn't happened as badly lately, but like there's been an awful lot of discussion in the past about like just being advertising for manga. So I feel like Netflix doesn't do that, but you know, I don't know. I mean.
Yeah. So I guess on story, I'll say this one's incomplete. But if you want a class on like how to, build up a setting, how to build context around your characters and their individual themes, this is a solid one to watch because the writers did superb job in giving you so many fucking people and places to care about. And then you do like I wouldn't have even even the president of that food truck, the Tonga, I think. Like I love that fucking guy, bro. I love that fucking guy. Like that guy's a good guy. He had moments of mentorship with Kaiman, and for what? For no reason. Because fuck it, why not? And it was good. His moment was not too little, not too much. So like I think this is a masterclass in setup. But yeah, if we're gonna review based on an incompleteness, let's definitely minus some points because if this is all we get, then that's really a bummer. That's where I'm at with the story.
Visually, some of the 3D CG, of course, was a little bit iffy. I think it took a while for me to get used to it, but they did nail some scenes from the manga pretty well. Like the scene in the bathroom with Sheen, I'm trying to remember which episode it was, but the really dark one where he kills those guys in the bathroom. That the whole scene looks so like it looks like a really good adaptation of the manga, and I really love that scene when we get to see the magic. And I like to see like some of the way they portrayed the magic, like in healing, was really nice. The background art and the atmosphere is fantastic because it was done by Shinji Kimura, who did Akira. So,
fuck yeah.
That's why the world looks so amazing.
Ooh, man, I did not know that.
And how gritty it is.
Yeah, the magic effects looked really good, I thought. When the characters get eaten into hell, that was really cool. When Ebisu is like thrashing a pillow around, they have like all the feathers animated. That looked really well. There's a fight scene where like the eyeball gets removed and like the Arm and Hammer regeneration happens. That looks really cool. There's a scene in episode 5 where like Nikaido and Kaiman and Shin and Neo are entering the same house on different sides, and the camera like 3D spins around and we see them entering at the same time on each corner. That was pretty cool. Like, characters sometimes look like a water balloon that was overinflated. And the moment, sometimes the CG moves a little stiffly, but like all in all, like it was solid. And the Sorcerer City at the end was so opulent, and the church they fought at was just so packed with stuff that never could have been in 2D. That looks so splendid.
I'm super with you guys on this show being so extra in its backgrounds. Like, so it was a treat. It was a treat because like we know what shitty backgrounds look like, and it's leagues apart from this, right? So
Yeah.
Exceptional. And then I do want to point out like another example of really good camera work was when Kaiman ordered food at the hospital. And that's from the Tippy Museum. Okay, sorry.
Sorry to distract you.
Yeah, it's okay. But like, there's this one scene where Kaiman orders food to the hospital, and like the camera just like follows him in a like over his shoulder, and it just spins from like left to left to left to back to where he started. And I think it's like, it's like they didn't have to do that. Like they didn't have to do that, but it's just a more interesting way to keep your eyes from getting exhausted that you're watching the show. You know what I mean? So, and this show I think did a really good job of giving you moments of, of different things for your eyes to process, so that you're not bored visually, constantly. Like so many cool, and I love that what you mentioned, Mason. That that Shin Noe combo where like he knows his arm's about to get ripped off, so she breathes and it's immediately regenerated, and he just smashed that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah. That's how you use your world that you made in a way that only you can do it, right? So like that's fucking dope. So like really good visual, really good context from the world that allow the visuals to be very fresh. So that's dope.
Can we mention how cool the EDs were?
I was about to say, speaking of
yeah.
being extra and just going above and beyond, the EDs constantly were changing. Sometimes they were haunting, sometimes they were chipper.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Different songs, different visuals. The OP
Doom
was
mushrooms?
fantastic. Yeah, the Doom mushrooms. The OP also didn't change the song, but they added characters over time, like falling into the cooking process or the drains. Like the show at the end of the day, if I had to sum it up with one word, was just personality. From the animation to the music to the characters to just everything put into it. You felt like that, just for better or worse, just people caring, and it was so good.
I'm ready to review it because we're getting a little long.
Yeah, probably.
I'm down.
I'll just go first. Like I think that the show's world building is like masterclass level. I think the backgrounds help a lot with that. I mean, it doesn't help the world building much when the world looks stark. You know what I mean? So the fact that they have such great backgrounds is, it helps a lot. And the show is really, it is what I said it is. I just really do feel like it's like a masterclass in world building. The characters are really great. Almost none of them are unlikable. You kind of have to hunt for a villain. I'm not sure there is one really. We'll see as we get deeper into it. The music is pretty great. I love the OP. I think the CG looks like far better than most. I thought like it's not jarring. As a person who just started watching Kingdom, which looks really rough, like this thing compared to Kingdom, this thing is not even CG. That's how much better it looks. So yeah. And as I said, really my only critique of it is that there's just not much story, and for a person with no attention span, I really need that. And I feel like it's been a while since I've had an anime that I thought had a real story. So I'm sure we'll get to one eventually. So, I think that if season 2 rolls around, I'm keep reading that Netflix is like, oh, if Netflix doesn't have control over the second season, and they're saying it'll only have a second season if it does well on Netflix. So we'll have to see. If it gets a second season and there's like a ton of story in the second season and you look at it as a whole, like I think, yeah, I mean, I'll probably be like, wow, this is a show that's like, way leagues above other shows. I think that because I'm just going to knock a little off because it doesn't have really, they don't really get around to it in the first season. I feel like they kind of started to, they're just like taking baby steps, and they kind of started to gain momentum right as it ended. So, yeah, I guess did we even mention the cockroach guy? It's fucking weird.
Briefly.
It's so weird. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it I'm gonna give it it's really tough. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna give it I'm gonna be nice. I'll give it 4 half-eaten gyoza.
Fuck. What do I do for Dorohedoro, man? Okay. I thought about this previously, but like this happens a lot on the podcast. The more I speak, the more I flesh out my own ideas, while also being influenced by my brilliant co-host. So like things just get adjusted on the fly sometimes. But yeah, man, when I hit play on this show, I was not expecting to be taken on such a wild fucking like place, because I didn't necessarily know the synopsis of the manga and stuff like that. So But man, was it welcome, because I love anime. I really, really, really love anime. But sometimes there's some seasons where it's just like, fuck, man, that was good, but I've seen that already. I've seen that already, and I've seen that already. Like, it's just execution was good, but like, I want something more. Like, I want someone to go off. That's why I like Yuasa so much, because when he has the opportunity to make a show, like, there's flair. There's like, yeah, he did that. Like, you can tell that he did that. So like, I was just so happy that I felt refreshed watching this. I wasn't bored like once, which is crazy. That doesn't happen too often. The voice, I think, was great. The characters, I loved pretty much all of them. Even the characters you get that got one line, were just fun. Like, the whole world was just fun. And it's been a while since I was immersed enough to be so sad that the show just ended at 12 with that kind of drop off. Because I was just invested. Like, I was genuinely invested. So with that, with everything I have said so far, I can't give it a 5, because there were parts of animation that were kind of weird at the beginning ish. It cleaned up very well near the end, and also that we can't, no, for now it's an incomplete show, and incomplete shows unfortunately can't be 5 out of 5s. If we were grading it on just setup, probably would give it a 5. It's a brilliant setup, but I'm gonna knock it down a little bit. So I'm gonna give it like a 4.5. 4.5. You are not the ones out of 5.
That's good.
It's nice. What did we learn this episode? That's what we need, like a rundown of everything we talked about. I'm not gonna go on too long. I really enjoy it. I want to return to this world so badly as soon as possible. Give me more. But I kind of think about how this impacted me and where it ended up. I feel like it struck me in the same way that the Berserk anime did, where it's just, I need more, and maybe I'll go back and revise my score afterwards, but as it currently stands, I don't know. I need more. I want more. I don't know. I'm going to give it 4 shark dances out of 5.
Nice. Nice.
No, yeah, no, I absolutely love the series. It's different. It's a lot of very unique characters and the setting, and I think I've pretty much mentioned everything that I possibly could about it throughout this whole thing. And yeah, I'll definitely be there for the rest of it. And I think we did a good job of developing different characters' backstories, making me care about them before we get to the meat of the show or the meat of the stories. So and filling in all of the different backgrounds, because if we jump straight into the story and I don't care about the characters, then I won't care enough to keep continuing. And I think they did a good job of setting everything up. And yeah, no, I love it. And I think I would give it, been debating between a 4 and a 4.5. I don't know which one I want to give it. I'm gonna give it 4.5 mushroom dinners out of 5.
Casseroles.
Nice.
Turkey men's out of 5s. There you go. 4 relationship goals out of 5. There's another
4 relationship goals out of 5.
The listener score has also averaged out to a 4. We got a ton of votes and comments, which are all in our show notes. Seems like everybody had a lot of really good things to say about it, and it didn't get any scores lower than a 3.
Wow.
Check it out, people.
Yeah.
Check it out. Just watch it. Just watch it.
Yeah, watch it. Trust me, if you got time, just hit play. Just hit play once. You won't have to hit play again. I promise. So with that, my fellow lovely friends and co-hosts, and to the lovely Twitch chat, it's time for us to close the show. This has been episode 528 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, where we are still, through it all, dedicated to making your anime addiction worse. My name is Enzo. I've been joined today by Mandi, Mason, and Mitsugi. I think it was a solid episode. We talked for a long time, but we knew that was going to happen.
Yep.
If you want to follow me on social media, I'm at Enzobadia, ENZOBADIA. Mandi, where you at?
At AAA_Mandi with an I on Twitter. I talk about anime and games and ferrets, and yeah, I'm taking a tiny little break, but I'll try to get more into social media lately.
Mitz, where you at?
Pope Mitsugi, I feel like all I talk about now is the stock market, so probably not a great follow. But I have been talking a lot about PlayStation the last week, so there is that.
Nice. And Mason, where you at?
I'm at Macy Pacey, MACEYPACEY, and I'm just dipping my toes into this whole thing. So join for some hot takes.
Well, all of us together are at AA Podcast on Twitter as well. And again, this is the Anime Addicts Anonymous. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Bye, guys.
Peace out.
Peace out.